Well, a very good evening, everybody, and welcome to the final round of Alliance Sim Racing's V8 Supercar Championship. We are here at Adelaide after what has been a fairly tumultuous season, up and down, plenty of action right throughout the 10 rounds we have had in this championship, and it all brings us to here 78 laps of the Adelaide Street Circuit and the final challenge of this season, 251 kilometres ahead of our drivers this evening. My name, of course, is Isaac Fogan. It's a pleasure to have you wherever you are watching from, right across Australia, New Zealand, and indeed around the world here on Simple Racing Broadcasts. And with me tonight in the booth is none other than Josh Harris. Josh, welcome back to the booth. We had you obviously last week as well for Canada, and that was action-packed. And considering this is Adelaide, I have no doubt this will be exactly the same tonight.
Hey, good evening, Isaac. Good evening, everyone at home. Thank you for having me along again. You're absolutely right. Action-packed is usually the words that you use to describe Adelaide. Got to be one of the best circuits in the world, Isaac. There's concrete walls. There's a bit of traditional racetrack. There's lots of everything. It's fast. It's bumpy. It's everything that a supercars track should be. And just like the real world, nowhere better to hold the final race of the season.
Absolutely. I can think of no place else I'd rather be on a Tuesday night than watching supercars go around here at Adelaide for the final round of the season. 2 compulsory pit stops this evening, only the one race. Usually throughout the season we've seen a shorter race followed by a longer race, and tonight we just do the one, 251 Ks as we mentioned. No fuel limit this evening, so drivers can start with 100% of fuel if they so choose to. Relatively cool out there at the moment, 18 degrees on track and only 20 degrees track temperature here in Adelaide, so a relatively cool March day for our drivers. And I'm sure they'll be thankful for those lower temperatures. Let's have a look at what our championship looks like heading into this final round. And it is, of course, once it appears on our screens, Wayne Walker leading the championship fairly comfortably over Matt van der Kraan. And yeah, you'd imagine that's not going to change all too much this evening, so that may stay as it is. But keep an eye on Mark Poynton, not too far behind Matt van der Kraan, actually only about 70 points behind Young Birds Racing driver there in second, and then Stephen Varga also just over 100 points behind Mark Poynton. Looking at our Trophy Cup class, and it's actually pretty close on points between Listener and Vargas. That's going to be a really interesting battle this evening, Josh, as to who comes out on top in that class.
Yeah, it is, and one of the really important things for our viewers at home tonight to keep an eye on, only one race tonight, and the last round cannot be dropped here at ASR, so all it takes is for Wayne Walker to end up in the pits, with a significant repair, and there's definitely the possibility for those chasing to come and steal the crown. The same in the Trophy Cup, of course. Very, very close battle there. Anyone's game. This is the sort of track where things happen. Blind corners, it's reasonably fast. Turn 8, of course. And, in this style of racing, the turn 1, 2, 3 centre chicane is absolutely a recipe to end up with a couple of cars in the fence with huge damage. So all to play for tonight, and certainly not in the bag yet, but Wayne Walker's form is ominous, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is. He has been, I want to use the word untouchable in these last few rounds. He's really just absolutely dominated the field. We'll take a moment, though, to go through where everybody else sits. So Ryan Palmer, 5th in points at the moment. He's pretty close on points with Jim Capronis to Jason Bentz as well. About 20 points exactly between those three drivers. So that could go either way this evening for the last spot inside the top 5. And it's Andrew Rushworth, Troy Stonestreet and Luke Allman inside the top 10. Mick Clifton just outside the top 10, but actually not too far away from Luke Allman. So again, that could change this evening for a spot inside that top 10. As we said, Andrew Listener, Rick Weigart and Lon McKee leading the way in the points. Nick Geary, fourth in the points, inside the top 15 for Frog Leap Introduced Racing. And then Jamie McKnight, Craig Schulz, Trav Daly, Abel Verban and Ernie Toth rounding out your top 20. Just outside of that, we have Jason Douglas and James Hardy actually tied on points this evening. So who will come out on top in that battle, we'll find out. Don't no doubt. Damon Fisher, Andrew Hoffman, Brian Borg and Phil Manuel. Brian Borg shot up the points and he's been quick the last few rounds. He hasn't featured too much in the season, but we have seen him jump up. And then Glenn Boyd, Troy Sipple, Brad Green also in there, Vince Salvatore, Jason Dunn, Brian Hayes, Dash Hall, Craig Rose in there as well. So we'll keep an eye on where everybody can finish this evening. And we have a look at our grid now. It's just come across. The grid is ready to go. We were told that we could see what the grid was going to be, and I'm hoping that that will be the case, but it's not coming up for me to show you what our grid is for this race. So unfortunately, a couple of technical difficulties plaguing. Oh, we do have a warm-up, so I believe we may have to actually wait until the conclusion of the warm-up, Josh, before we can discuss the grid, but we can actually look at the qualifying results. So here we go. We'll get them up on your screen, ladies and gentlemen. We can discuss these, and then obviously we'll show you the grid, but the grid will be much the same. It is Wayne Walker that topped that session, but look how close it was between himself and Brian Borg. 0.03 of a second between the two drivers on the front row. Matt Vanderkraan in position number 3, so he's in with a shot at being close enough to Wayne Walker off this start. But Nick Geary on the trophy class pole inside the top 5 as well. Lon McKee not too far behind. Crucially, Andrew Listener down in 18th in that battle.
There's a couple of really interesting names there. Nick Geary, Lon McKee for that Cup trophy, having an absolutely stellar showing tonight. Absolutely good on them. Jace Douglas, he's had a fantastic result. If we cast our mind back to last week, he was absolutely buried in the pack, so he'll be much happier starting in 8th. And of course, a couple of names, Isaac, that are missing from this list. We have a host of drivers that have been handed the absolute honour of starting tonight's race from pit lane. They will be very happy that there is 250 kilometres to punch out tonight. Yeah, they certainly will be glad that look, it's a long race ahead. I definitely think we're going to see a safety car this evening. We can see there the top 8 cars within a second of each other. Jason Douglas, the last car inside a second of Wayne Walker. And then it is Andrew Rushworth and Rick Weigart just inside that top 10 as well. Mark Point and Stephen Varga just missing out. Andrew Hoffman and Luke Allman inside the top 15. James Hardy as well inside that top 15. Troy Sipple, the last car inside the top 20. We look a little bit further field on this grid. We do have a large number of cars that have not set a time in this session, but that is because they have pit lane starts. So Ryan Palmer, Trav Daly and Damon Fisher all serving pit lane starts this evening. Simon Hayes, I believe, will be in race control for this one. But looking to the back of the grid, Dale Logsdale, the last car to set a time. So the question will become, I think, for Ryan Palmer, Troy Stonestreet as well didn't set a time, but he'll be able to start on the grid, I believe. But Trav Daly, Ryan Palmer, Damon Fisher, the question becomes, what can they do from back of this grid? Yeah, it's going to be a big challenge for them. There's a couple of guys that you see there setting, what is a relatively slow time. Certainly the gap to leader is more significant towards the back of the field than up the top. Those gaps really start to elongate. It's a challenging track, Isaac. It's one of those tracks where if you're struggling to come to terms with it, or if you don't have the confidence to, fly that 1-2 chicane to attack the inside curb at turn 8 and then slide all the way out to the curb on the way out of 8, all of those things, they chew up huge amounts of time. And so for drivers who maybe don't hold that confidence to attack this circuit, they are going to be a couple of seconds a lap off the pace. And I think that the big risk for those guys that are starting in the pit lane is that there's going to be a huge speed differential between a couple of them. And the risk is obviously, drivers of different pace getting caught up with each other, and tripping over each other. I think that you're right. There is going to be safety cars. We're going to see people. We're going to see this pack continually regrouped. We did a charity race here just right at the very end of last year with Alliance Sim Racing, and that was an absolutely fantastic event. But what I can tell you is that the safety cars were pretty frequent. There's no doubt about that. Between crashes and blown engines, I really do expect to see probably 3 safety cars tonight, I reckon.
3 safety cars. That is a big call. We'll keep track. I think we tried to, when we did the charity race all the way back in December, we actually tried to play the game of how many safety cars we're going to get, and we severely underestimated. So 3 safety cars, that's a nice round number. We'll keep a very close eye on that number across the evening, of course, as the race does progress. We should be able to bring you the grid now as the cars are getting set. Here we are. So it's Wayne Walker and Brian Borg, as we said. We'll share the front row. Matt Vanderkraan and Phil Manuel on row number 2. Nick Geary and Law McKee share row number 3 for the Trophy Cup class. Then it's Jim Capronis and Jason Douglas on row number 4. Andrew Rushworth, Rick Vigar rounding out that top 10 as we continue down the order. It is Mark Pointman, Stephen Varga just outside that top 10 on row 6. It's Andrew Hoffman, Luke Allman, row 7. James Hardy and Mick Clifton sitting in row 8, Ernie Toth and Andrew Listener, row 9, and Craig Schulz and Troy Sipple rounding out that top 20 on row number 10. Brad Hayes, Glenn Boyce, Scott Perrins and Ash Hall, rows number 11 and 12. Craig Rose and Mick Rudd, David Logsdale and Simon Haynes. Todd Martin is in race control this evening. Troy Stonestreet will inherit 29th place as a result on the grid. And David Logsdale will inherit 26th, so they'll start on row number 13. No, my apologies. It'll be Troy Stonestreet will move up 1, and I believe Vince Salvatore will also move up 1, so he'll inherit 30th place. Josh Harris is not racing tonight. He's actually in the commentary box with me. He was turning laps earlier. That's why his name is appearing there. Trav Daly, Ryan Palmer, Damon Fisher, as we mentioned, will all start from pit lane. Abel Verban will start this race, I believe, on the grid as well, so he'll be at the back of this field. We will get up now if we can. I'm just looking for my cameras and press the button. We can see now the cars starting to grid up, starting to get into position. We're not too far away from a race start. We'll grab a quick word from you, Josh, before we do start. What are you looking for here on this race start? What can we expect some drivers to do on this opening lap?
Look, the guys proved last week that they tend to be a little bit feisty on the first lap. I think that the run into the turn 1-2 chicane is going to be critical. These guys need to take a bit of a deep breath, make sure they get into single file, or at least give each other room through that chicane. We see how wild it is in the real supercars. And then from there, Jared, whilst it's not the start of the race, the other thing that I'm really interested to see, the charity race that we did, it was a 2-driver enduro. It was only 105 laps. It wasn't that much longer than this race. This is a big race for drivers to do on their own. And I really do expect to see a bit of fatigue start to set in towards the back end of this race.
Well, we will keep an eye on those drivers as we get into this race. As you said, it is a long time, 78 laps of the Adelaide Street Circuit this evening, ladies and gentlemen. And we are not too far away from all the cars being ready to go. The last few cars jumping on to the grid and ticking that they are well and truly ready for this race. So I suspect we'll get the green flag very, very shortly as we await the starters' orders. I think there's just a couple cars at the back that we are, in fact, waiting on. So here we go. The timing tower has come up, which indicates that we are not too far away from a race start. You can see there Simon Haynes listed, and we are away. That's actually the green flag, so we didn't get any start lights, but we are away for the final race of the season. It's a great start for a large number of these drivers into turn one. Wayne Walker will lead the way from, it looks like Brian Borgett is, and everyone seems to, we've got a car around in the background. We've got a car spun at the first chicane. This is a massive incident. Trying to work out who is involved here. It looks like potentially Boyce and Mick Rudd. And that is a meatball flag for Glenn Boyce. We may get a safety car here, ladies and gentlemen. We'll keep an eye on this as a couple cars roll on through after the start. And we'll keep an eye on whether the safety car does in fact leave the pit lane. But that was a huge incident at the start of this race. And massive contact for quite a few drivers. Trav Daly has a drive-through as well. But a meatball flag for, I believe that was Glenn Boyce, and it was Glenn Boyce that stabbed himself with a meatball flag. Massive accident at the first chicane, and I can't see any safety car out on track yet though, so we may have actually got away with this as they roll through lap number 1 and around this Adelaide Parkland circuit for the first time. And it is Wayne Walker that's got off to a brilliant start here, leads this race, and we are actually under safety car now, so the safety car has been called. And Simon Hayes is entering the circuit as we speak. Might be a bit late though. I'm not sure if he's going to pick up the leaders. He hasn't. So there is no safety car that has picked up the leaders. So it'll actually have to be the next time by.
It's interesting to see everyone. Well, I shouldn't say everyone. A number of people have dived into the pits. As Ryan Palmer pointed out in our comments there on YouTube, whilst we have an open fuel tank tonight, drivers can use all 133. The fixed setup that we run actually determines that all drivers start with 80 litres, Isaac. So they have space on lap 1 to dive in, fill their tank to the brim, and tick off one of those CPS. That does though set them up now to try and run this out as a one-stop race, which is going to be huge. They're going to be praying for a safety car at some point to sneak a freebie in. But I think it's a good idea, right? If I was in this race, I'd be diving into the pit lane too. You take the stops under safety car when you can. And yeah, those drivers that did miss on that first lap, sure enough, they are, they're all in now, all navigating this incredibly tight pit lane here at the Adelaide Parkland circuit. As predicted though, Isaac, a car around at the turn 1-2 chicane, and unfortunately, for that driver, I forget exactly who it was, or certainly it may not have been the car that was facing backwards, but we did end up with car 666, I think it was, that was sitting at turn 5, requesting a tow, hence the need for the safety car. Yeah,
absolutely. A car 65, if I look at my timing screen, is in fact, I lost them on my timing screen, so I can't actually see who that is. We will come back to that. I do have a replay of what happened at turn 1. It was Glenn Boyce. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We will see, just try to unpack here what has happened. It's thinking about it. Here we go. Replay is not replaying, unfortunately.
That's a re-photo.
That's a re-photo. Here we go. This is Scott Perrins coming into turn 1 off the start, and there's a car around in front. So it looks like Glenn Boyce clips the inside curb barrier, and as a result has unfortunately spun and made contact. We'll try and see if we can get another replay. Here we go. Now wants to work for us. This is Glenn Boyce. So follow Glenn Boyce here. As he tips into turn 1, he's just come a little bit too narrow. He gets a little bit of a helping hand from someone there, bumped into the wall, and massive pile up of multiple cars. That's Mick Rudd. There is it. I'm trying to work out which car number that is. And then I saw James Hardy was listed as crashing as well. Let's see what happened to James Hardy here in the staircase section as he rolls through. This is the 666 car. Into the outside wall and just got caught up there. Look, has he popped the motor there? No, he's just on the wall.
I think that he found himself entirely stuck in the tyre barrier. It is that car that has requested the tow and therefore brought the safety car out. So not at all. Oh, Craig Rose.
Craig Rose.
All on his own.
All on his own, just spun on the island there. So that's a strange one as well. But yeah, so that's what caused the safety car, was that incident with James Hardy all on his own into the wall.
Yeah, absolutely. And just one thing to have a bit of a look at, we do see Brad Hayes, Ashley Hall, David Logsdale, Vince Salvatore and Ryan Palmer chose not to take the pit under safety car there. It's gonna create a little bit of pain. You know, there's a little bit of medicine to take later on, but those guys have elevated themselves all the way near the front of the field, and they're taking a track position race. We have heard, by the way, that the safety car is in. We expect to see it start to pull away any moment now. The safety car will be coming in this lap. And so what we're going to see here is the wave rounds conducted for cars that are awaiting their wave round. There they go. And shortly, I believe, on the exit of turn 9, we will see the safety car pull away, and then we will be back racing. Let's see, Isaac, whether we can get more than just a couple of corners in this time under green flag running.
It would be nice, wouldn't it? But we can see the wave around still happening for a couple of cars. So I suspect we will get the safety car pulling away very, very shortly. And it doesn't appear, I would expect the safety car to have pulled away by now, but he's still there. The field will be under control of Matt Vanderkraan once the safety car does pull away. We get a restart underway here. There we go. The safety car is now pulled away. And we are with your race leader in Matt Vanderkraan. And it is actually an Angry Birds 1-2 at the moment. So if you're an Angry Birds fan, take a photo of this, the 1 and 2 on the road. When does Matt Vanderkraan go? I'd suspect on the exit of the final corner. And he has gone. We're just waiting on the camera to cut. And there we go. Matt Vanderkraan disappeared in the distance, taking his teammate with him as they run into turn number 1 and 2 now for the first time across the chicane. That's a lovely shot, isn't it? Get an idea of just how these cars are behaving across the curbs.
It is a fantastic shot, that one.
It is a beautiful shot. Up the inside, Ryan Palmer on, who was that he was going?
Vince Salvatore.
Vince Salvatore. So he has got that move. Brian Borg's also followed him through. So Brian Borg has actually got ahead of Wayne Walker after that first round of pit stops. And Ryan Palmer is going for overtakes left, right, centre. Brian Borg following him through. Vince Salvatore wants a piece as well up the inside of David Logsdale. And I think he's actually got that move done as well. So this is starting to get a little bit racy here, ladies and gentlemen, on the restart. And that's what we expected as they run through turn 8. Look at this camera angle. Switches back the other way as Ryan Palmer rolls. So we've got a couple cars loose. Oh, they caught it. I don't know. Heavy contact into the wall. Who was that that's hit the wall? We'll try and find out. It was with a 266.
That was Phil Manuel. Phil Manuel.
And where is Phil Manuel? He is there still rolling the 266 car. So I did call it as the 266 car made contact with the wall. And he is continuing on, but the level of damage on that car is under question at the moment. How hard did he hit that wall? It looks like there's a bit of damage you can see there on the car. So whether that's superficial or not entirely sure, but that was a heavy impact. And we've got a couple cars listed as having crashes there. Unfortunately, one of them is not Phil Manuel, so we cannot. We might have to find an alternate method of going back and getting a replay of that one. And up the inside now, Lorna McKee on Luke Allman gets that one done. That's a lovely overtake indeed. And this is what we expect from Adelaide, isn't it? Nice close battles through this staircase section. Everyone jostling for position. And if you're brave under brakes here, you can go for a move up the inside.
You can. It's as you said, you've got to be brave under brakes. It's actually a surprisingly difficult track to pass on cleanly, although this is one of the great spots into turn 9. So we see here Ryan Palmer dives out from behind Brad Hayes, gets the car pulled up into 9, but Brad immediately on the switchback. However, that does put him on the outside for this 10-11 complex, and Ryan Palmer slams the door closed. He gets the job done. He has moved forward into 3rd position, and for a pit lane start, if you would have said to Ryan, hey, by the end of lap 6 you'll be in 3rd place, but slightly compromised on strategy, I think he would have said, thank you very much, I'll take that, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. He will definitely take that. A drive-through penalty for Brad Hayes as well. So Wayne Walker also up another spot. He is continuing to move forward. Remember, he has stopped in this race already, so he's served the first of his 2 compulsory pit stops. He's the man leading this championship. Brian Borg is the next car, headed in 2.5 seconds up the road. Hello to everybody in chat. We love seeing so many people getting in, saying g'day and getting involved in what is such an awesome series. This is our final round of the season, 78 laps of Adelaide. If you've just joined us, where have you been? There's been some epic actions so far in this race. It has not really slowed down from the word go, as you would expect at Adelaide. You can see the string Mo in there. G'day, Mo. Hope you're doing well, mate. Cody as well. Nathan Allen in there. And Ryan Palmer was in there earlier as well. Matty Morgan also. What a crazy spot to crash at the end of the straight. Yeah, absolutely. An interesting spot indeed, but again, it's because you're trying to carry so much speed. If I believe you're talking about on the run down towards turn 9, Matty Morgan, I believe that's just due to you carry so much speed through turn 8 and you can get it crossed up, and then that is a carry-on effect. It all sort of moves in a clockwise direction and continues moving. We see a car in, that's Brad Hayes serving his drive-through, but it just continues moving, and unfortunately for Phil Manuel, it was just once the slide starts, in these cars especially, it's really hard to catch.
The other thing that can happen there, if you do get a run on someone through 8, these cars don't react particularly well to violent changes of direction, and if you do try and tighten that turning radius up while you've still got your foot in the throttle, it can get a little bit of wheel spin on that inside wheel. These cars are a handful, and this is, not really a track that's designed for overpowered, overweight, undertired cars, but our drivers are doing a fantastic job. Jace Douglas pulling out of the way there. Not sure whether... no.
Law McKee's around. So, but Jace Douglas pulling out of the way to try and get that slowdown, and then got back onto the racing line. This is going to be a massive pile up of cars.
There is cars everywhere.
There. This is carnage. Look at this. This is a massive incident. This is huge. There is multiple cars involved. Law McKee was stranded after contact with Jason Douglas, and there is more and more cars involved in this every single second. Oh, another one. Another car has come through trying to get down. As Law McKee attempts to move this out of the way, we are going to have safety car here, surely. We have to have a safety car, I would imagine, after such a level of incident. Everyone seems to have gotten going again, but that is absolutely massive. Law McKee spun after contact with Jason Douglas. Jason Douglas trying to serve that slowdown, and now, as a result, there has been huge contact with multiple cars all into each other. Let's get a replay of that if we can. It started here with Lorne McKee, and we'll bring this replay up, ladies and gentlemen. Lorne McKee serving a slowdown is Jace Douglas. Watch for him here. Pulls back across. Lorne McKee turns in. He's as if he's not there, and then multiple cars bang, and then here comes the rest of the pack. Bang, nowhere to go, and unfortunately carrying speed through. Look at that. One of the Quantum cars just trying to drive through that gap. And then another spin here, a couple more cars checking up, getting involved. Everyone's trying to get around and navigate out of it. And then spins around in front, 266 car. Lorne McKee looks to get going again, and bang, another 266 car comes along. And huge amounts of contact.
Yeah, that was that was just one of those scenarios where the longer you look, the worse it got.
Absolutely.
I think that Lorne McKee there probably thought that he was clear of Jace Douglas, and he's turned in, and unfortunately Jace was still there on the inside, as we do see that that front barless
Oh, look at
quantum
that.
car in the background slapping the wall on the outside of turn 8. That thing is going to be an absolute handful to drive. So better them than me. I don't particularly like driving supercars without front bars. I'm not all that great to start with, and taking away what precious little bit of performance there is not something that I enjoy. But I do believe it's Rushworth who continues to press on, and you see there 1, 2, 3 cars all without a front bar, all in that mid pack, all caught up at that turn 7 accident. I would suggest that there is a few people in voice chats at the moment that are mighty frustrated.
Absolutely,
I would suggest. Yeah, absolutely. And you know, from the moment that spin happened, everyone after that arriving on the scene unsighted, not much else they can do. You know, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Well, certainly don't think there was any malice in it. Let's say that. An unfortunate situation, and yeah, you know, you come around those corners so committed. The run down to turn 8 is one of the most important runs on the whole track. So you come into turn 7 absolutely committed, and arriving there to see numerous cars parked in the middle of the track would not have been the way that any of those drivers imagined their lap going.
No, absolutely not. That was probably not what they expected when they were told there was a yellow flag at turn 7 either. So that arrived to what can best be described as a car park, and I think we're probably going to have a better time of playing a game of how many cars don't have damage out there at the moment, trying to find those cars, because I think pretty much every single car out there has some sort of bent panel or something out there at the moment, especially these guys that are missing front bars. They continue to push on at the front of the field. Ryan Palmer is doing his best to look after Matt Vanderkraan. That was one of the Accelerate sim racing cars in the background making contact with the wall. It wasn't Wayne Walker. It's trying to work out who is directly behind Ryan Palmer. We'll have a look here if we can get the battle box up. We will get understanding of who might actually be behind Ryan Palmer. I just don't believe anyone's close enough for the battle box to register at the moment. Wayne Walker, I should say, is right in behind Rick Vigar at the moment. Here we go for position. So remember, Rick Vigar yet to stop in this race. Brian Borg and Wayne Walker have stopped. So the top 2 cars, there's a handful of cars in this sort of top 5 that are yet to stop. So a little bit out of sequence with everybody else at the moment. Wayne Walker has a think about an inside move onto turn 4, but not able to get it done on that occasion. He'll try and set himself up here through the staircase section. This is a crucial piece of racetrack, especially in these cars. Look at that bent front panel on Wayne Walker. He pulls to the inside now at turn 6, gets the move done, and he'll run towards turn 7, up into 4th now, albeit 2.5 seconds behind Brian Borg. So a fair bit of work to do. And in the background, Damon Fischer, Phil Manuel battling like crazy with Nick Geary at the moment. So these guys jostling for position with Damon Fischer. So they are 2.5 seconds behind Trav Daly. But we're sort of getting to the point now. I think it's starting to settle down a little bit. I don't want to jinx it, of course, but I think it's starting to settle down just a little bit. Everybody's starting to find their rhythm.
Yeah, absolutely. And escaping that crash a couple of laps ago without needing a safety car helped. It didn't bunch up, you know, and in fact significantly spread the field. As we do look up and down the totem, we see that there are more and more people with their own little patch of race track to race on. And I assure you that on a race this long, Isaac, this is about the part of the night where drivers really do try and take a breath and just settle into a rhythm, because they want this call to be as hard as possible for us to put together, because you know, they want to just cruise around, turn out laps, not pick up slowdowns here at turn 1, 2, you know, not brush walls. At turn 6 has got a wall that's so easy to hit. Turn 7's got a wall. Turn 8's easy to hit the wall at. Turn 11, you know, just turn after turn after turn here. There are walls that are very, very easy to rub the cars against, and it's never a fun time. And so these guys really will probably want to go from here to about lap 50 I reckon. Just doing not a huge amount. Cruise around, put in good quality laps, look after the tyres, maybe save a little bit of fuel, and really get into those pit stop cycles and start to see what sort of a position they can put themselves in for later in the race. If there's one thing that we know about ASR, it's that they do utilise the safety car in a realistic way. So, we would expect to see at any race at Adelaide, real or not, another car in the fence pretty significantly at some point in this race.
Yeah, certainly I would expect that we would. There's a awesome car getting out of the way. I've just noticed Mick Rudd has crashed. It was listed as crashed. Not entirely sure if that is accurate. We will endeavour to find out, though. Maybe he's just stopping to get out of the way of some cars. He looks to actually be all right and still rolling around. So where is Mick Rudd on track? Here he is. He's in the pit lane. So he actually is missing his front bar. But it looks like he was just getting out of the way of some cars there to come in to fix that front bar that he had broken. This is Troy Stone Street, another one of those cars rolling around without a front bar. Look at this, we've got a couple cars in succession. Troy Stone Street, Andrew Listener mixing their front bars right now, and that'll be an absolute handful of a vehicle to manage. And that's as a result of that earlier incident with Lorne McKee. So, interesting to note that a couple of cars are just trying to push on with this damage. Hopefully not affecting them too much at this track, but I know especially when you get to turn 8, they're really going to feel it with that lack of front downforce.
Yeah, absolutely, and of course that's just going to accelerate tyre wear and all those sorts of things. As the drivers try to fight that lack of front grip, and you see it there. Everyone taking a nice tight line, and then as soon as the car with no front downforce arrives, it is all over the shop. But these drivers doing their best to calculate the amount of time that they're losing every lap, and at this stage they think that it's faster to lose a few tenths every lap than it is to come in and take an additional unscheduled pit stop. And certainly if any of these guys had damage from lap 1 and utilised their fast repair, for instance, already, then absolutely they want to, limit the amount of time in pits. As we do see now, that's another place that it's going to be really difficult to get the cars through that turn 1-2 chicane. And, it's just another lap we see there. Hoffman's picked himself up a slowdown. He has just cleared it already. But, I think that if you keep an eye on the totem at home, every single lap there will be someone that does get a slowdown. It is such a difficult corner to get right.
Absolutely, and that's going to equate as we get towards the end of this race in terms of incident points. Remember, if you accumulate too many incident points, I don't exactly know what the number is for this evening, but if you accumulate too many incident points, the game will hand you a drive-through penalty. Up the inside, under brakes for Nick Geary on Damon Fisher, and he's got that spot pretty much done. A little bit of Morse code there on the rear bumper from Damon Fisher, trying to force the issue, but Nick Geary will remain in 12th position now and hold on. And that was a lovely overtake at turn 9, set him up on the exit at 7, all the way down the back straight through 8 and into the hairpin at 9. And that was a beautiful job indeed. So he continues to push on. But yes, I think as we get towards the back end of this race, do not be surprised if we see a few drivers get I want to say black flags, drive-throughs, as Nick Geary now has to serve a slowdown. This is going to leave him vulnerable, and Damon Fisher will swoop back around the outside and get that place back. So that's a position lost as a result of a slowdown for Nick Geary.
Interestingly, though, Isaac, that turn 1-2 slowdown, you can absolutely trigger that without getting an off-track X count. So a lot of these drivers racking up the slowdowns, not actually accruing X for that.
Well, there you go. So they're not accruing any incident points, which is good. That's the way we. That's hopefully a good thing. So we'll keep an eye. Hopefully everyone will then avoid drive-throughs in this race for cutting too much of that first chicane, getting a little bit too greedy. We've got a battle happening up in front. Jim Capronis, Trav Daly, battling with, is that Stephen Varga? No, battling with Troy Sipple, actually. So this is Troy Sipple leading this little group. and Jim Capronis jumped across to 2.66 for this race. He was with Southern Cross previously, but 2.66 sim racing for this this final round this evening at Adelaide. And he's got Troy Sipple, Quantum Racing, and Trav Daly in behind him. So they're forming a nice little battle at the moment. Damon Fisher's got himself a slow down. That could leave him vulnerable to Nick Geary behind. He's trying to clear. That's a big clear from Damon Fisher. That was a massive slowdown. The way that he's cut turn one has obviously cost him quite a lot of time, and he's had to massively get out of that. He's lost a spot to Phil Manuel as well as a result. So that was a huge slowdown. And that is the big story of the evening, ladies and gentlemen. Slowdown penalties are going to absolutely bite you here. Trav Daly, though, looks to be setting himself up out of 7 to maybe get a run on Jim Capronis at 9.
Yeah, and it's such a good place to set this run up, but it's so difficult. That is one of the highest commitment corners, as we do see Nick Geary in the fence in the background. Thankfully, it doesn't look like a huge amount of damage, but just for everyone at home to get a good understanding, you know, they talk in real life about just how fast that turn 8 corner is. The fastest line through it, just like in the real life supercars, you want to get as close to that inside wall as you can. You actually just touch the ripple strip on the inside at over 200 k's an hour. And then you want to slide the car all the way out to that outside wall. It is hugely challenging, and as soon as you are tucked in behind a car, it becomes even more challenging. And how good is this shot, Jared, as we see these supercars? There's a slowdown for you for Damon Fisher again. He has racked up a few in a few laps, so he is just struggling with his turn-in point at turn 1. It is very difficult, once again, so that everyone at home truly understands. Turn 1, 2, it's one of those positions on the track you have a bit of a dab on the brakes on the front straight. Down 1 gear, it's taken in 4th gear. It's a pretty quick little corner, but ideally you want to fly the left-hand side of the car off the inside curb, which has that dirty great big tyre bundle on it, and then you land the car nice and square on the track, and you power up over the turn 2 curb at full throttle. It is a huge challenge. These cars don't turn around, don't turn, quite as well as you want. As we see there, once again, no Stone Street, no front down force, straight in that fence, late on the brakes, thinking about the move on the Accelerate Sim Racing car. But back to that turn 1, 2 chicane, just very quickly. You do have to get that so right. Watch the cars through there tonight, folks. They want to be hitting that inside curb while missing the tyre bundle. It is a fantastic corner. It's probably the most challenging corner that we take the supercars to, as Vince Salvatore entirely misses the apex at the last corner and immediately throws the door open for Hoffman to have a crack. They are going to go too wide towards turn 1. Hoffman very wisely backs out ever so slightly and allows those cars to drop back into single file. Look at these guys heading through that chicane. What a fantastic shot that is.
It is a very good shot. We've had Jared Cole has turned up in chat just to remind you that you are in fact actually in the booth with me. I'll take it as I'm actually doing a really good job if you think I'm Jared and not Isaac. So I'll take it as I'm actually doing my job quite well this evening, and I'll use it as a compliment. But
mate, I do apologise.
Jared is sitting on the couch this evening, enjoying this one from the comfort of his lounge. And we're very grateful to Jared for the opportunity to jump in and steer the ship this evening. And he's left us unsupervised, although not really unsupervised. He is watching to make sure I'm sure that we're doing a wonderful job. It's great to see so many people in chat getting involved, saying g'day. Quite a few of some friends of mine are clearly jumping in and enjoying the broadcast. So it's great to see. Hopefully we'll see people back once we get stuck into the next season in a few weeks' time. But for now, we still have 58 laps of racing, and Vince Salvatore is doing his best at the moment to hold up Andrew Hoffman. I think, if I'm just going to check my notes, Vince Salvatore is yet to stop in this race. So he sits 15th on the leaderboard, but everyone around him has actually served a pit stop. Now, we've had a question in the chat, Josh, and I think you, as someone who's done plenty of laps in the lead up to this race this evening for research and data purposes, I'm sure you'll be able to answer this a lot more effectively than me. What are we looking for in terms of tyre life here this evening? What can we expect out of a set of tyres, and what's the expected strategy for those that have done a stop or maybe those that have not yet stopped in this race?
Yeah, look, I think you hit the nail on the head in your comment. 25 to 30 laps is somewhere about where they're going to try and break this up. 25 and 20, 28 laps, is a pretty neat number. That 80 litres of fuel is really only going to get to somewhere about lap 25. So the guys who haven't stopped yet will be getting pretty close. A really interesting aspect of this Supercars tyre is the performance drop immediately is huge. It is astronomical. By lap 4 tonight, I was really struggling with rear grip. But what happens then is the tyres plateau, and they will run, they'll run 2 fast laps. They'll then run sort of 3 laps where they get worse and worse and worse every lap. And then from about lap, 5 or 6, they just stop degrading. And they stop degrading for a long time, or they certainly do. Your lap time gets slowly slower, but it's nothing like those first couple of laps. These guys now will actually be in a wonderful rhythm. They'll be used to the rear grip that they've got. They're not losing rear grip quickly. But what they're about to get is somewhere in the next, 10 laps, let's say, for those that have stopped, they're going to come in and they're going to fill that tank up. And these cars, while they're not super fast with a full tank, they're very, very settled. That additional weight really helps them feel far nicer, as we do see Nick Geary, huge dive into turn 9. The 266 car of Jim Caperonis squeezes him on the way into 9 and then squeezes him on the way out. They bang on the way into 10. They bang on the way into 11. Nick Geary's in the fence and only just missed by, I'm not 100% sure who that was, the 505 of Damon Fisher. That was a fantastic piece of driving to avoid that, but plenty of door banging there. I'm not necessarily sure that was particularly kosher, but it was fantastic to watch. But just very quickly, I'll finish that point before. The full tanks of fuel, Isaac, are going to make these cars feel really nice to drive. And then they're going to get a absolute shot. Oh, as we see there, squeezed on the entrance. That is brave from Sippel. That's a braver. He's braver than me. That's not a game that I would play. But yeah, these cars are going to come out of the pits. They're going to have fresh rubber. They're going to be settled, and these guys are all going to think that all their birthdays have come at once, because these cars will be absolute rocket ships for a couple of laps, and then they'll settle back into this more, static, high 21, low 22 sort of pace for our front runners.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's look, it's going to be really interesting to watch, and who goes for an undercut, who goes for an overcut. Brian Borg is caught right up to the back of Ryan Palmer now as well. Saw a comment from our Dusty saying that it looks like Trav Daly's gone to the Brian Wood school of overtaking at turn 4, which is quite a humorous comment, I must admit. Obviously, very famous moment at the end of last season. If you haven't seen it, you must be living under a rock when it comes to Supercars racing, because it's one of the most viewed clips, I'm sure, of recent memory for Supercars.
Well, not if you're Brock Feeney.
Not if you're Brock Feeney. I don't think he's watched that one too many times. Yeah, let's be honest. He doesn't want to relive that day at all, and I think the media's likes to remind him of it quite constantly. But anyway, this is Ryan Palmer, and he started from the pit lane in this race, yet to stop obviously, but up into P2, so doing quite a brilliant job considering Vince Salvatore, who's also yet to stop, is all the way down in P15. So this easily could have gone backwards for Ryan Palmer, but he's driven quite well at the moment. Very measured drive, not measured, and Ryan Palmer, not usually two words we would put together, but he's driven quite well so far this evening, but he is now coming under pressure from Brian Borg.
Yeah, he is doing a good job to keep Brian Borg behind him, and it will continue to be a good job if he manages to maintain that position. One thing I'll say about Ryan, the famous ADHD incident at Oran Park feels like a lifetime ago. Ryan, as we do see though, he plays with fire and unfortunately gets burnt. Brian Borg not far enough down the inside. Ryan Palmer, though, did squeeze and close the door. And what do you know? When you play with fire, you get burnt. Just a little tag and made him brush the fence. Not too much damage to the front of the 80 HD Camaro by the look of it. And Borg was well aware that he had probably been a little bit cheeky there, and he propped and allowed Ryan to get back on with racing. But to give Ryan the shred of credit that he deserves, he has certainly matured since the famous Oran Park 80 HD 1-2 team implosion. And this is the sort of drive that we're starting to see from him more and more, which is just absolutely fantastic to see.
Yeah, we're loving to see his development as a driver across the seasons. Obviously, myself still being relatively new to the world of iRacing and some of these drivers, but Ryan Palmer, someone I know relatively well personally, and have I want to say a relatively good relationship. He might disagree depending on the day of the week, but he, look, he's got a good head about him, and he approaches these situations now in a very measured and controlled way. And it certainly doesn't try and take out his teammates anymore, from what I've seen. But
doesn't try and take him out any less, though. That's the problem.
I think it helps that there's no 80 HD teammates in this race tonight for him to attempt to take out. So he's got to he's got no one to try and aim for this evening. A little bit of a touch of the wall there for Wayne Walker as he closes right up. So this is now the back end battle of the podium. Brian Borg trying to put pressure on Ryan Palmer. And Ryan Palmer making that Camaro as wide as possible has meant that Wayne Walker has been able to close that gap from about a second and a half now to within a second, and put a little bit of pressure on Brian Borg as a result, which I think is what Ryan Palmer was hoping for. Late braking move up the inside from Brian Borg. There's a little bit of door-to-door contact as Ryan Palmer turns down the corner. They continue to rub on the exit of 9 into 10 now. Under brakes as Ryan Palmer still at the inside. He affords each other a bit of room. There was nice space left. They're going to continue side by side through 12 into 13 and now into the final corner. They've sorted it out and Ryan Palmer has decided now is the time to serve that first pit stop. So he's going to get out of the way of this. And as he loses the spot, has thrown the white flag and gone, I'm going to go into the pits to get out of the way. But that was a very aggressive piece of racing from those two. Brian Borg obviously decided enough was enough. He wanted to try and get by. He's got to catch Matt Vanderkraan. Keep in mind, Matt Vanderkraan also yet to stop in this race as well, so he hasn't served a pit stop yet. Brian Borg will now come into de facto lead of this race once Matt Vanderkraan does stop. The question will be, where does Ryan Palmer pop out once he does serve his pit stop? We're keeping an eye on that. And there's a little bit of a battle pack forming down the back here. Troy Sipple, where is Ryan Palmer? We'll have a look for the 80 HD driver coming out of the pit lane. That's not going to show me what I want to see. This is the final corner. Ryan Palmer.
Oh, he's going to come out right into traffic.
He's going to join with this little group. Look at this train of cars coming down the front straight. Where is Ryan Palmer? There he is, trundling now. He's actually going to jump out behind these guys, so he will seem to avoid this little this gaggle of cars, if you will. There is Ryan Palmer just there. But look at this battle group from Nick. Who am I looking at? Troy Sipple in 8th place, all the way down. Really to Phil Manuel in 13th. We've got a nice little battle of cars trying to jostle for position in last spots inside the top 10.
Yeah, this is a fantastic battle pack that's forming up, and we love to see it. This is the sort of racetrack though, Isaac, where it's a bit like an accordion. 1 minute everyone will have their own little piece of track, and then just one car will make a mistake and it'll bunch a few people up. We do see here now Daly putting the move on Sips as those two go side by side out of 9 towards 10 and 11. And then the two 266 cars also squabbling over the same bit of track. They remain too wide all the way through 11. And that, of course, invites Nick Geary in. Daly now having got the job done on Sips, although he did think about a late dive into the last corner at turn 14. One of the things that these sort of battles really remind me of, and of course we watched Ryan Palmer and Brian Borg have the same battle not that long ago. It's a really interesting decision that you've got to make early on in the race. We've still got over 50 laps to go, Isaac, and you really need to make a decision about how hard you defend and how hard you race someone. You know, what is going to be the best outcome for your total race time? And, you know, is it better to just let the car in front go, don't worry about fighting it, you know, and just, as we do see there, Nick Geary and one of the 266 cars coming together there at Jim Capronis coming together. Little gaggle of cars coming now. They need to sort themselves out for turn 8. They do. That is fantastic to see. They'll get through their single file and they will resume that battle at 9. And yes, you're absolutely right. Ryan Palmer on fresh tyres. He wants to make the most of this. But, yeah, these guys need to really concentrate on the lowest race time that they possibly can. No point fighting now. You've still got 50 laps to go. Just let the car go. Settle into the fastest laps you can. And if you're still battling in, you know, the 70s, well, that's when you start to really fight and really defend.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ryan Palmer, I saw him sort of slowly closing in on this group, and then it became a very rapid close in as Nick Geary redressed that contact with Jim Capronis. And he will want to make quick work of this group to utilise these fresh tyres. He does not want to be stuck behind these guys for too long. He wants to get himself into some clean air, potentially get up all the way up to Trav Daly in 6th, and then start to make some inroads up the inside now on Nick Geary. Gets that overtake done. And it's still sort of going on in the background as well. Just looking down to the back end of the top 20, I can see Craig Schultz, Andrew Hoffman and Andrew Rushworth are battling for position here behind Rick Vigar. Rick Vigar's just come out of the pit lane, so he's on a fresh set of boots. He's got relatively new rubber. Once that comes up to temperature, he should be quicker than these guys behind him. But for now, they're trying to capitalise on a little bit of wall rubbing there for a couple of drivers in the background, Hoffman and Andrew Rushworth, so Andrew squared, getting into the wall, throwing a little bit of contact there. And they continue to push on. And again, as you said, plenty of racing left to go. We haven't even reached the halfway mark yet, folks. We are about 40 minutes into this race and we have seen some amazing action so far, and it's not even halfway done. So there's still plenty of racing to come your way this evening, and still plenty of positions left to sort out. Glenn Boyce in the pit lane. Once again, he's at the pit exit. I believe that's yet another trip to the lane for Glenn Boyce. I think it's been a couple this evening. And Cunt dives into the pit lane. Who was that? Vince Salvatore diving into the pits for his first stop. So he finally pulls the trigger as well. There was a car that looked like it had spun Andrew Hoffman in the lane as well. There is Andrew Hoffman. Here he is. And he'll pull into his pit box and serve his stop. Phil Manuel is battling up the front. Well, I say the front of this field. He's trying to find a way past. Who's that? That is Matt Vanderkraan. So Matt Vanderkraan served his stop, come out in 12th place. Ryan Palmer's into 9th now and trying to get his way past Damon Fisher. So it's all happening at the front of this field. Now we're starting to see these guys that didn't stop under safety car. Mick Clifton with a meatball flag. Something's happened to Mick Clifton. Has he popped a motor? Where is Mick Clifton? You know, he's just got that is a lot of damage.
That's a turn 1. That's got to be a turn 1.
I do have a replay of what exactly has happened to Mick Clifton. Here he comes in towards turn 1, throws it in to the corner. Just carried too much speed. Massive contact with the outside wall. Goes in backwards as well. That is a huge hit to Mick Clifton. And he will continue on. He's actually stopped. So we could get a safety car here, ladies and gentlemen. We have a car stopped on the road. It is Mick Clifton. Watching Simon Haynes closely here to see if the safety car does in fact come out, because Mick Clifton is still not moving at the moment. He is stationary on the circuit, and this could be a major change in the race in terms of strategy here. He is out of the way. There he is. You can see him just there, but is he out of the way enough for race control to decide that they are happy with where that car is positioned? I'm watching like a hawk. Simon Haynes is actually entering the circuit, and we do have a safety car. So the field will come under the control of the Chubby Buns safety car for the second time this evening. And Luke Allman immediately taking advantage and diving into the pits. Brian Borg and Wayne Walker were already well around. And look at where they are on track compared to the man in 3rd place. So this is going to close the pack right up. Who makes their second stop here? I think pretty much everyone is going to take the opportunity for their second stop. I do not see anyone staying out for the remainder of this race or staying out in this safety car period unless they've hired the Ferrari strategy team.
Now, I'll tell you who benefits here. Ryan Palmer and Matt Vanderkraan, having only just done their pit stops a couple of laps ago. In my opinion, they dive into the pits now, although we do see Ryan Palmer go sailing past. He is once again going to take that strategy call. I would have been interested to see one of them dive into pits, a far shorter pit stop, of course, because everyone else was just about out of fuel, and those guys nearly chock-a-block full. Top yourself up, put yourself on the same strategy, and away you go. However, what I can tell you, Ryan Palmer and Matt Vanderkraan will be max fuel save throughout this safety car to essentially reset their strategy as close as possible to everyone else's, because like we said at the start, by taking the track position, particularly that Ryan Palmer did, having done a pit lane start, by taking that track position, that meant that he was massively compromised on the initial, on that first safety car timing. He spent a lot longer in the time than some of the drivers will now. But we'll see how this works for them and where everyone else pops out on the track in relation to this group. These guys are still moving along at just about race pace, although it looks like Ryan wishes that everyone would hurry up just a little bit. He is pushing to get back to the front of the pack.
Yeah, he is pushing very hard to try and get back to the front of this field. I was wondering if he was maybe trying to come in. He wanted to get it obviously out in front of Brian Borg here, which he wasn't able to do. I was wondering if maybe he was attempting to try and get a bit of space, go for a second push lap before getting picked up by the safety car so that he could come into the lane and gain some spots, potentially while everyone else was in a thing. But he had a few cars in front of him here, which has actually made it really hard for him to try and do that. So maybe a change in strategy here for Ryan Palmer, not quite sure. Matt Vanderkraan sits in 5th, Rick Weigard back up the order as well, Luke Allman in 6th. So we'll try and get the numbers for you folks on who is yet to serve their second pit stop. I'll look at my numbers here. And the first one on track is, well, technically it says Ryan Palmer has served 2 pit stops, but I believe that's because he had the pit lane start, so it doesn't actually count. Matt Vanderkraan, Rick Weigard yet to do their second stop. Ernie Toth as well, yet to do their second stop. And Brad Hayes yet to do his second stop. Prince Salvatore as well, who is a lap down, should get this lap back under safety car. So a handful of cars out there that are yet to stop twice in this race legally. I say legally as, Ryan Palmer with that pit lane start. It counted him as being in the pit lane, but he'll have to come through again and put a set of tyres on to serve that compulsory pit stop. So interesting to note. We'll keep a very close eye on that. You can see, look at the train of cars. I'm just trying to pick up for you folks where Wayne Walker is. So here's Wayne Walker, and that is not the safety car directly in front of him, so they should go past the safety car once we do catch it. And they're all trying to figure out what's happening at the moment, I believe, as they sort through the process. But it is Wayne Walker that leads the race and will be picked up behind the safety car. And then it's Vince Salvatore, who's in 21st. We've got Vince Salvatore, Andrew Hoffman, Craig Schulz, and then Brian Borg. So these cars will get out of the way once they get the wave by order, but it's just interesting to note there is quite a few cars that are a lap down and find themselves inserted between our race leaders at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely, and just needed, so the thing that was going on there was just clearing the cars that had been picked up by the safety car trying to pass through to the leader. Wait arounds are still due to come. I'm just going to fire up a bit of a replay here, something that I happened to see just before the safety car was called, and that was a huge 3-wide pass into turn 9 for Ryan Palmer. Although it looks like this has picked up the wrong pass, unfortunately.
That's him passing someone in the pit lane.
It is him passing someone in the pit lane. It's a shame that I can't find the one that I was looking for, but what I will say, I just happened right as that crash was going on, Isaac. We were pretty lucky, I'll be honest. I just happened to look over at my screen, and there was cars 3 wide, and there was cars in front and cars behind, and there was a whole heap of shenanigans going on into turn 9, which I had hopes to find, but unfortunately it is now buried in the list of events. But a couple of lucky drivers there that got out of what looked to me to be a pretty big incident brewing up. That's for sure.
Yeah, it looks like pretty big incident was brewing up. So thankfully, we did have a safety car come out. I'm just trying to look through my replays as well to see if I can find anything of note that we might have missed. So if there's anything that anyone out there feels like we maybe didn't see, obviously let us know. I can't see anything, so I'm going to continue to do a little bit of research and try and find something. I think this is a perfect opportunity to talk about, because we get the wave around now, so cars are starting to overtake the safety car, so we may get the safety car in this lap now that this is happening. We should talk about the safety car. Obviously this season, the safety car has been sponsored by Chubby, Buns, Burgers. And I will get Simon Haynes on the TV here in just a second. There he is. So there's our lovely Chubby Buns safety car. They have been a very good, an amazing sponsor this season, sponsored our replays and our safety car. So every time a replay comes up on the screen, you do see the Chubby Buns Burgers logo. And they do amazing charcoal grilled burgers, and they do absolutely taste delicious. I can attest, I did have one a couple of weeks ago on a trip to Sydney, and they are quite beautiful. So lovely, delicious burgers, taste amazing. They have locations in Victoria and New South Wales, and I'm sure if you search up on Google Chubby Buns and check out their website, they'll list all their locations. So if you are in New South Wales, especially in Sydney or in Victoria, then make sure you give them a Google, find out where they are, the nearest one to you, and if you are down that way at any point, make sure you call in and say good day and support this amazing business that comes on board to support us here and what we do at ASR, because we certainly would not be able to go racing the way we do without them. And a big thank you as well, while I'm at it, to our race control volunteers this evening, Todd Martin and Simon Haynes. Simon Haynes driving the safety car for us this evening. They do a wonderful job, and it's great that we have they give up their time, they volunteer their time over an evening to make sure that the race runs smoothly, and without them, I feel like it'd be probably utter chaos out there.
Yeah, those guys do a fantastic job. The whole race takes a pretty big effort behind the scenes, and a couple of the key guys behind the scenes do get to get out there and have a race, but our RC guys, our safety car driver, they all do such a fantastic job, and as you said, mate, we're absolutely so happy to have them aboard and thankful.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've got to restart. We are away. So Wayne Walker is waiting a long time to go here, and he's finally made the decision to go. And we have green flag running once again, and we are through turn 1. Look at this camera shot as the cars all run through turn 1 now for the first time across the curbs through the chicane, and I just absolutely am in love with that curb cam. Jared Cole's built a beautiful camera pack for this circuit, hasn't he? Just done a fantastic job, and immediately Brian Borg is putting our race leader under immense amounts of pressure and trying to challenge for this race lead. Ryan Palmer wants to go with them. They've sort of left Damon Fisher and Matt Vanderkram behind a little bit on the restart. Wayne Walker waited a long time before finding that go pedal, and now that he has, he's not been able to drop Brian Borg and Ryan Palmer the way I think he would have wanted to. Oh, massive contact into the wall for Brian Borg. So a kiss of the wall up the inside goes Ryan Palmer. Here we go. He's got it crossed up on the way in. Looked like he was locking a brake. There was very little smoke, but you could see he had it crossed up on the slide on the way in. He's managed to pull it up. They're still side by side, but that position is going to go the way of Ryan Palmer for now. Can Brian Borg get that one back on the run towards the final corner now? Across the curb. through 13 into 14, heavy under brakes, and he manages to hold on, does Ryan Palmer. That was a bold overtake. Definitely did well to pull that up and get that car stopped, but we are underway for the second restart now, and what a restart that was. A very electric opening to this lap. Look at them in the background. There is cars all over the place. Everyone's trying to find a bit of racetrack to fight for. Run through the turn 1, 2, 3 chicane, the center chicane as it is called, and everyone still running, which is good. There's been no one in the wall, no one with major damage so far. Up the inside, a little bit of contact with Geary and Stephen Varga. They're battling for the last, they're battling for P11, sorry. And up the inside now, Geary under brakes. Is he going to go for the move into 6? He does send it, and he is alongside as they run into 7 as well. They're still side by side, leaving each other a bit of room, a bit of space. This is brilliant driving between these guys. They need to sort it out before they get to turn 8. Gentlemen's agreement, this corner is single file. You don't want to run through here side by side. Are they going to? They are. They're going to run side by side, Josh Harris. You do not want to do that. In the background, one of the other juice cars trying to find a bit of racetrack, and there's multiple cars everywhere. I cannot keep up with what's happening on this restart.
Yeah, that was two gentlemen that both thought that they were on the right side of the agreement, and I'm not 100% sure that they both were. I think one of them was probably a little bit cheeky there. I'm not 100% sure of exactly what that agreement is. I'll be honest, but that was brave, and we're very, very lucky that we still have all of those Gen 3 supercars still with 4 wheels on them and pointing in roughly the right direction. What a fantastic green flag lap. These safety cars, they really do invigorate the pack, and you know, these guys putting on an absolutely fantastic display of car control. As you know, we cast our mind back to Ryan Palmer with the rear wheels all locked up on the down change. I'm not sure how he didn't go 10-pin bowling with a couple of leaders, but alas, he is still up there in second with Borg behind him. We, however, have our cameras firmly focused on the 505 of Damon Fisher. He is hunting down Matt Vanderkraan, and this pack has started to settle in to a little bit more of a rhythm, but still lots and lots of cars that are very close together, and there will be some battles continuing on. Lorne McKee has had a yellow flag for a long time. There he goes. He has now cleared his slowdown, and right as he did it, Craig Rose picked one up. I am actually not sure that there is ever a time where our totem doesn't have a slowdown showing on it, Isaac.
Someone said, I think they signed the Blake side of the gentleman's agreement. I think you're absolutely right. They have definitely signed the Blake part of the gentleman's agreement, because no one is following this any gentleman's agreement this evening. It is gloves off, the final round of the season, the last day of school for these guys in this season 7 championship. And a couple of weeks off before we go racing in season 8. We're on lap 38, so 40 laps to go when we cross the line. We're not even really at the halfway point yet, folks. And the action has been undeniable. There has been some brilliant racing here this evening already, and there's still plenty more to come. Do not go anywhere. We are green once again here at Adelaide for the final round, round 10, I should say, of the Alliance Sim Racing Supercars Championship. And up the inside, thinks about it. No, not on that occasion for Trav. Daly thought better of the move, but he's going to size himself up on the run towards turn 10 under brakes. Does he get that? He's actually very well clear under brakes, so he outbrakes massively, but he's carried a lot of speed into the corner. He does hold on to the position though, but he carried a lot of speed into that corner.
Yeah, he did. He was late on the brakes, confident in his move, and obviously, supremely good under brakes. That was a fantastic display, and he will now bolt. Nick Geary shows the nose at the last corner. That's brave, and he gets just a little bit of overlap on the run out of the corner. He does settle back in, but of course now we've got that run into turn 1, 2. He doesn't have a huge amount of visibility from where he's at. These guys all doing a fantastic job to keep these cars single file and close to one another. Immediately looks on the inside, and of course Ernie Toth who absolutely went defensive, ends up overslowing and immediately makes himself vulnerable to Varga, with Poynton and Caperonis and Stone Street all arguing in the background. There is cars going everywhere in this mid-pack battle at the moment. This is a pretty significant long train. These guys are doing a fantastic job, but I certainly think that there's a couple of beads of sweat going on a couple of different brows in these cockpits.
Yeah, there certainly will be. They are feeling the pressure out there at the moment. Look at them all run through turn 8, and that is just a brilliant sight, isn't it? These cars through turn 8 are something else, ladies and gentlemen. And looking at this battle pack, this is a massive battle pack from Stephen Varga in 11th place, pretty much all the way down. I would argue all the way down to Craig Schulz in 23rd. Vince Salvatore's a second and a half back. He continued to fall a little bit.
Huge crash on the exit of turn 11. I'm 100% sure. Troy Sipple.
Andrew Rushworth was involved.
Yeah, it looked like Troy Sipple had a spin and Rushworth came through and got him at a pretty rapid rate of knots.
A black flag for, oh look, if we can get a replay of this crash. Here we go, the Chubby Buns replay. What does it show? Troy Sipple across the curb does have he clipped the outside wall, so then had a spin as a result, and then bang, huge hit with Andrew Rushworth. He got a meatball flag, and Troy Sipple had a black flag. I think that's for incident points in contact with the wall. So he's pushed on Andrew Rushworth into the lane to get that repaired.
Craig Schultz having a moment at turn 4 as well.
We've got to look at that one. We do.
It was all on his own by the look of it.
Craig Schultz, into the back of someone there, and then just gone straight on. So he went into the back of, I believe that was maybe one of the. I don't actually know who that was he went to the back of, but he did go into the back of one of the Camaros, and then just carried too much spin to the corner. 10
style points for the flick spin, though. Absolutely glorious flick spin.
That was beautiful. That was poetic. And, definitely not something I could do. I'd probably end up in the wall if I tried to flick spin one of those things. So,
look, as a very average driver of supercars who has to spend a reasonable amount of time down exit roads and whatnot, doing a flick spin does end up being one of your favourite parts of driving a supercar. It is a lot of fun to do.
Yes, certainly is. Al Dusty saying, hold your brakes, people. Don't hold your brake too much, because if you hold your brake too much, you'll lock up, and then there'll be a massive crash because you'll carry too much speed when you lock up. So, you probably need to hold your brakes at times, but in these cars with no ABS, you also don't want to hold your brakes too much because that'll cause a much bigger incident. And I'm just keeping an eye on some battles that are happening up and down this field, keeping a very close eye indeed on what is happening. Everyone's starting to spread out a little bit after this safety car. Trav Daly already 6 seconds behind Luke Allman, who's chasing down Rick Varga. But this is Stephen Varga, Mark Point, and Troy Stone Street. These guys, Troy Stone Street with a brand new front bar that now is a little bit damaged, but in better condition than what he had last time, considering he was missing his front bar entirely before that last pit stop. He'll be very, very grateful for, even though it's minimal, he'll be grateful for the jump. We've got a car off the road there at the exit of that corner. I believe they're back on now. Mick Clifton it is. Where is Mick Clifton? Here he is. He's rolling once again, but it looks like he was off the road. Do we have I have a replay for David Logsdale? Is this what happens? This was the car that was sitting off the road potentially, and runs into the corner, and just couldn't turn it.
Yeah, it's you tend to know pretty early in that corner out there at turn 11 whether you feel like you're going to make the corner or not, and I would suggest that was just a decision to bail rather than put it in the fence and be involved in a huge accident. Yeah,
which was a smart call from David Logsdale. We saw him have a massive accident at Miami a couple of weeks ago, and I believe that was just the Ryan Palmer effect. He was trying to find out where Ryan Palmer was, and unfortunately for Brian Borg, made massive contact, and I think David Logsdale will want anything but that to happen again. So made sure he got out of the way, couldn't carry him in the corner. The last thing he wanted to do was take someone out and make contact. So kudos to him. He's back out on the circuit and running once again, so he's gotten out of that gravel trap that he was in and is continued rolling. He's down the order in, if I can find him on my timing screen, there he is. We'll have a little look at David Logsdale. There he is in 32nd position. And Mick Rudd, unfortunately, out of this race. Mick Clifton in 31st, but sitting in behind that little battle pack that we were watching not too long ago of Stone Street, Stone Street, Varga and Poynton, and then Capronis and Phil Manuel battling as well. And Phil Manuel trying to find his way past his brand new teammate in Jim Capronis and putting him under immense amounts of pressure here, trying to get another spot. He 3.7 seconds back to that group in front. He'll want to try and clear Capronis and close up to that group while they're still battling.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be interesting to see how these guys work together. Obviously, as you said, new teammates. Not 100% sure whether they're all running in the same voice chat and really working together, or whether they're trying to, work out how they race together by a little bit of braille and, telekinetics and all of that sort of stuff, trying to communicate those ways. But we do see there Jim Capronis absolutely getting out of the way. He did read both sides of the gentleman's agreement, and he knew that it was time to get out. As we see a quantum car facing the wrong way, that is not where that quantum car wants to be. Not a huge. I'm not exactly sure who that was. But it is a quantum car that has not much left to the front end.
Ash Hall, I think it is Ash Hall, looking at who is stationary. And it is indeed Ash Hall, who is not moving. He does try and get it moving now. Lets the traffic go through, and that is a very sorry looking quantum car. And just trying to work out if we're going to, I think because we're rolling again, we won't see a safety car here for Ash Hall, but he does have a black flag to his name as well. So incident points accrued for Ash Hall. And you'll have to get that one back into the pit stop, get it repaired, and then come back around again for a drive-through. But as we're talking, so Stephen Varga behind Stone Street, trying to get that position back. Really, Mark Poynton up the road, and Phil Manuel now in behind this group as well. Trying to look at that, and that's Mick Clifton in behind this group. So he's out of sequence. He's in 31st position. Ash Hall looks to have continued on, so Ash Hall actually didn't come into the lane and has continued to push on with that damage. So it must
quantum on
quantum. And it's a bit like ADHD on ADHD. Who is that is spun at that final corner? That champion. Craig Rose. It was a lap down. So Craig Rose is still there. He's stopped. He's not moving yet. This is going to be messy.
Oh, no.
That's Abel Verban that's come through. That was a very, very messy moment as Craig Rose tried to turn that car around. Abel Verban will not be happy. That has just cost him a spot to Glenn Boyce as well. So he'll be straight on the radio to race control for an unsafe re-entry there. That almost ended in disaster for both those drivers. I was trying to see if anyone was coming, and I thought you'd waited till it was clear, but then out of the corner of our screen entered one Abel Verban and almost ended in disaster. That was a massively scary moment for both those drivers, no doubt.
Yeah, that was a bit of a shame. Not the sort of stuff that we want to see, but that just looked like a bit of a genuine mistake. It looked like Craig had sat there for a while and for some reason thought he was clear. We all have different sims that show us different things. But yeah, disappointing nonetheless. And as you said, Abel there copying, lost a spot. He will be appropriately frustrated, no doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. He would be very, very frustrated, I have no doubt. As I said, he's having a chat to race control about that. This is Damon Fisher, Luke Orman putting pressure on Jason Douglas. Rick Vigar's also in behind this. He was ahead of these guys earlier. Ryan Palmer, Brian Borg having a little bit of a battle, trying to sort this out through the staircase section. So Brian Borg was alongside and almost past Ryan Palmer at one stage, but Ryan Palmer has held on to this position. This has been brilliant for Wayne Walker, who skipped away into the distance some 5 seconds up the road. Matt Vanderkran's invited himself to this party as well. So we now have a three-way battle for the last two spots on the podium. And keep in mind, Ryan Palmer still has another pit stop to serve.
Look, he does. Everyone's got another pit stop to serve. Ryan's is going to be slightly longer than those behind him. I bring us back to the comment that I made a few laps ago, Isaac. Ryan needs to think about what is the fastest way to the checkered flag from here. Really, all he's doing at the moment is letting Wayne Walker drive further up the road and potentially delaying the inevitable with Brian Borg. I appreciate that Ryan wants to keep Brian behind. But what he doesn't want to do is frustrate Brian to the point that a mistake creeps in, that some desperation to make that pass creeps in, or anything like that. And I really think that there's probably some merit here to if Brian chucks a move on again, let that move happen, do some fuel saving, reduce that pit stop time for the next pit stop, and try and be back in this position in say another 20 laps from now, where you've got Brian back behind you and you've got a 10-lap run to the end, really defending for your life. Now is probably not the time to do it, because Wayne Walker, all he's doing at the moment is looking in his mirror, giggling about how fast the cars are going backwards.
Yeah, I think Ryan Palmer is probably hoping for a late race safety car here to really keep him in this, because pitting now will drop him probably out, I'd say, well outside that top 10. So it's interesting to note. It's interesting to keep track of. Obviously, he felt like he should stay out to keep himself in track position, but this is really going to only go his way if he does get that late race safety car. The tyres are going to start to struggle. Obviously, stopping again, he'll have an advantage over everybody else, which is that he will have a fresh set of boots. But I think a late race safety car will really be what he needs to get this back into his favour if he wants to stick it on the podium today. Damon Fisher into the lane, and that should be his final pit stop of the evening. If I have a look how many he's already served, this will be pit stop number 3. Technically, but he started from the pit lane. So this will be pit stop number 2 for the 266 Sim Racing driver. And he'll get that out of the way now. We are on lap 48, so 30 laps to go when they cross the line next. And that is a considerable... It feels like we've been doing this for not that long at all. I feel like the time has absolutely flown, Josh Harris. We have, not really... I don't know. We've got a car around. Who is that that's facing the wrong way? That's Rick Weigart. Potentially, it is Rick Weigart. Does he get going again? He does. Let's see if we can figure out what's happened here to the Angry Birds Racing driver, Rick Weigart. Get a replay up now. And all on his own by the looks of it into turn number 5, and just got it crossed up on entry, slid the car and spun it. And that is so easy to do. And not... very frustrating, but very easy to do. He's done well to spin that around, avoid everybody else as they roll on through, and got that car going once again.
Yeah, he's very lucky to get out of that without any damage, and he will have his head down, looking to try and get those positions back. But yeah, if you're going to have a spin up in the staircase, that's probably the best case that you can hope for, is to not touch anything and only lose 1 or 2 positions.
Yep, absolutely. That's the 33 car getting out of the way of Ash Hall, making sure he doesn't get involved in this battle that's happening between Ryan Palmer and Brian Borg. Matt Vanderkraan dropped off the back of this group a little bit, but the lap traffic here is making it difficult for these guys, especially for Ryan Palmer. Look at the amount of lapped cars that are coming up, and he has to try and navigate these lapped cars while also trying not to give any sort of advantage away to Brian Borg in terms of a positional gain. I have to feel that this is a similar circumstance to what we saw last time with Ryan Palmer. A pit stop behind these guys, it's holding up Brian Borg. I would think he'd follow a similar strategy here, Josh, and that as soon as Brian Borg gets past, Ryan Palmer's in the pit lane for his second and final pit stop.
Yeah, potentially. I still think that Brian Borg and Wayne Walker are going to have another pit stop to do. I don't think that they're going to get home from when they did. So with that first stop being as early as it was, I think that they're committing to a third stop. So I think that Ryan's really trying to keep the cars behind. And that lap, Ryan was 0.4 faster than Brian. So he's still competitive on pace. The thing that Ryan needs to be careful of is not defending for so long that he sacrifices other parts of his race. I think that Ryan's genuinely racing for a podium spot here, but the last thing that he wants to do is resign himself to racing for fourth. If he slows everything up and invites Matt van der Graan in. I've got to argue that, in my opinion, racing fast and working well with Brian Borg is probably a better long-term outcome than racing slow and inviting Matt van der Graan to also consider attempting overtakes.
Yes, well, sorry, caught me mid-drink there. We know that Zorn Key gets a slow down penalty. We know that Brian Borg has the pace to keep up with Wayne Walker, potentially even be faster. Looking at the first laps of the race, it is in favour of Wayne Walker at the moment with a 20.705 as the fastest lap of the race. But yes, look, I think Ryan Palmer very well could benefit from letting Brian Borg by and trying to stick with him rather than trying to hold him up here. And it's interesting call. Troy Stone Street, what has happened? Lost a spot. Nick Geary has lost a handful of spots as he had an incident here. He's in the wall trying to get it going again. Oh, it's very close there to Craig Rose. He does get the car rolling. Can we get a replay? Nick Geary an off track here this is turn 10 into turn 11. So through turn 10, just gets it crossed up into turn 11 and has to go into the gravel. Keeps it out of the wall though, which is wonderful to see. No major damage on that car, just maybe a little bit of a bruised ego.
Yeah, he did a fantastic job there to realise what was going on. Had the right wheels up on that curb, and that often unsettles the car, particularly on the downshift. So done a fantastic job there. A whole heap of smoke there, though. What's going on there? The Quantum car in front having a few dramas. He gets out of the way though and lets Nick Geary through. Dash Hall having a bit of a battle. He is doing his very best to continue circulating and collect these ever valuable championship points, but he is certainly having a pretty tough night. But we do now. Yeah, that actually doesn't surprise me. Matt van der Graan is often pretty aggressive, and he probably feels that now's a great time to come into the pits and see whether Ryan and Brian, say that after a couple of beers quickly, whether these two blokes, I'll rephrase it that way, have a bit of a battle. And Matt van der Graan, if he was close enough, a fresh set of tyres, a couple of nice clean laps, it's all going to come down to where he pops out on track. If he can pop out on track in a little bit of fresh air, he'll jump these two guys and we'll come back to that comment that was defending actually the sensible idea, was inviting Matt van der Graan into the fight, the right idea. We will see what happens when these two guys pits. I could be wrong, but I am very, very confident that Wayne Walker and Brian Borg both still do need a pit stop.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll just have a look, Brian Borg. Oh, look, they could. Look. It's a question of whether they can get to the end from here with the tyres. I don't think fuel would be a question. They stopped on, just looking here at my numbers, lap 31 each. So can they get to the end on a full tank of fuel based on your numbers?
Let me do a little bit of real quick math and I'll come back to you.
All right, we'll leave you to do your maths and we'll come back to you in just a minute. We're keeping an eye on this battle further down the field. Damon Fisher is putting Vince Salvatore under all kinds of pressure as well on the exit of 7 down the back straight. Vince Salvatore trying to make inroads as well. We've got a cargo exploding. That's Ash Hall once again. Ash Hall with a meatball flag. So Ash Hall is actually stopped here. He is not moving. This could be a third safety car, ladies and gentlemen. He is not moving. Keeping an eye on what is happening in race control with Simon Haynes. This is a very dangerous spot for Ash Hall to be parked. He has got the meatball flag. And I think this will be most likely a safety car because he is not moving at all. There is Ryan Palmer and Brian Borg. Just watching to see if the safety car is going to leave the pit lane because he has absolutely not moved yet. Ash Hall, we're watching this camera angle. He's got the meatball flag to his name. And look, I don't imagine that this could be anything less than a safety car, really, because of the position in which he is stopped.
we would expect to see it. We're just waiting on final confirmations. There's a huge crash for car 13, who is, I'm not great with numbers this season. Craig Rose has had a big crash at what I think is the turn 1, 2, 3 chicane. His car is pointing in a bunch of different directions.
Look at that. This has to go safety car here, surely. Absolutely, after what we've seen. Scott Perrins also has a meatball flag. Where is Scott Perrins on the circuit? And there he is. His car, he's blown a motor. He's popped a motor there. Absolutely, he has. Just trying to stay with this in case we get a safety car before we jump to any replays. Matt Vanderkraan is going for some overtakes to try and get him for safety car. And we do now have a safety car. Matt Vanderkraan just got that overtake done on Andrew Listner. So strategy now becomes a question. Let's have a quick look at what happened to some of these drivers. Ash Hall, what has happened to Ashley Hall down the back straight? Oh, he's popped the motor. So the motor's gone for Ash Hall. So that's motor number 1. Craig Rose, was it? Was it Craig Rose?
It was Craig Rose.
Craig Rose. Let's have a look what's happened to Craig Rose. Turn 1, no front bar already, across the curb, and it's just let go on him. That is a, massive hit into the inside wall. Massive hit as a result, and that was, I want to say that was Scott Perrins, who has hit Craig Rose, and then as a result is got a lot of smoke. I don't know if he's necessarily popped the motor. I think that's actually the front impact has busted a hole in the radiator and has killed the car, given how it's smoking. That was a huge hit. Jim Coronis is well involved in something. It says he's had a crash down the bottom here. And this is side-by-side contact with Andrew Listner. And has he flipped it on the exit? No, it says he's crashed, but I think he just slowed down.
And now we just wait and we see what do all of the different drivers do. Yeah, absolutely. Brian Borg will need a set of tyres.
Where is Ryan Palmer? Here is Ryan Palmer coming in. So Ryan Palmer's been stuck behind cars. So Brian Borg came in, got a set of tyres, and Ryan Palmer's been stuck behind these two 266 cars and hasn't been able to go at full speed on the outlap, which means he's actually got a fair distance to the to Brian Borg now, which will be closed in via safety car, but he's actually, I think this is going to be a little bit more work for Ryan Palmer than he would have been hoping he'd come out in front of him, but now he has to go for track position all over again. The question for me is, does Wayne Walker come into the pits now for another stop, or does he just keep going?
Look, I don't know. My strategy brain has gone to bed already. It is bedtime. Look, Ryan Palmer will be very frustrated about getting caught up in that traffic. I bring myself back to the fact that I'm just not sure that it made sense to be scrapping with someone and giving away lap time 30 laps from the end. Because the reality is that if he cost himself 5, 6, 7 seconds, that's why he's 5, 6 seconds, 7 seconds down the road on where he could have been. These are those exact long-term decisions that you've got to make, where you really think about, what is the best outcome? Does it make sense to fight now? Now, I don't know what was going on a couple of seconds up the road from Ryan, but maybe he lets Brian Borg in front of him earlier. He pits there. They both come out together. They're more towards the front, and he's not buried in 9th place.
Yeah, he's it's interesting. I think he's going to have a little bit of work here to do. Obviously, all these cars are for position now. So, look, I don't know. There's a lot of ifs here, I think, for Ryan Palmer, of if he did this, if he did that. But it's going to become a question of now he just has to go with what he's got. A couple of people in the chat stating that this is actually the fault of Matty Morgan. Matty Morgan was talking about strategy. He said there'll be a safety car in the next few laps, and all of a sudden we have now found ourselves with a safety car. Jared Cole offering him a job for next season after that amazing commentator's curse that he seems to have. And Al Dusty as well. I've done a bit of commentating with that man Al Dusty, and he does love a good commentator's curse. I do not think there is a race where he has not spoken highly of someone and they've immediately crashed into the wall, which is impressive considering all our races were were pre-recorded, so the content had already happened. We were just watching it back on a replay. So it's amazing how he was cursing something that had already happened. He was just using his sixth sense. But no, it's look, it's a special talent, isn't it, Josh, being able to give someone the commentator's curse, and it seems like a few people out there have absolutely got that job.
Yeah, absolutely. Commentator's curse is my favourite part about commentating.
Ryan Palmer's in chat. Ryan, drive your car.
Look, this is Ryan Palmer. Ryan Palmer is a texting fiend. He does get behind the safety car and thinks that it's time, to get on his phone. What I would say, he is in Adelaide. Opportunity to get out the apps and do a little bit of swiping and see what he can find himself. But the other comment that we will come back to. A couple of people chatting about that Chubby Buns car, that Z4 GT3. They are absolutely 100% correct. That is the best looking safety car on the planet. And to be fair, is there a better car, visualization of Chubby Buns than that Z4? What a beautiful car. And yes, it is in this lap. Is that the last time we see it for the season? Wayne Walker has control of the field, and we do get ready for a green flag, hopefully all the way to the end.
Well, you did say three safety cars this evening. We've now had 3. And we have 22 laps remaining in this race. Wayne Walker is going to lead the field for the 3rd restart of the evening. Is it the final restart? We're going to find out. Jason Douglas is pushing Luke Allman down the front straight as they run through the turn 1-2 centre chicane for the 3rd time on a restart this evening. And Wayne Walker has absolutely blitzed the field, once again disappeared into the distance. Jason Douglas putting Luke Allman under all sorts of pressure on this restart. Brian Ball, Ryan Palmer wanting to make use of those tyres early. Brian Ball going for an overtake on Mark Poynton in the early stage of this race. He is searching for any sort of gap he can on the juiced racing car in the Chevrolet Camaro driver, and he is doing the best that he can. Vilt Salvatore obviously got that wave by 42 seconds behind. So the top 17 cars all in a queue now, running down the back straight in towards turn 8. Look at this camera angle, isn't it wonderful? Ryan Palmer, that is him battling with Stephen Varga.
Oh, that was
a huge lockup. Oh, and that is a round for Luke Allman. So Luke Allman has spun at the hairpin, and he's going to lose a bunch of spots here, drop all the way back to 17th. We'll get that rolling again. We'll come back to a replay of that as soon as we can, folks. But that is a massive lockup. Whether he was helped or not, I'm not entirely sure. Jason Douglas was really trying to run him all the way in. Oh, it's Matt Vanderkraan in the final corner. Is that a car spun? I think we got away with that. He did back out of it, but he was trying to push his way through there, wasn't he? It's all happening on this restart as we expect. Andrew Lister and Stephen Vargas side by side into the first chicane. Got to sort that out before we get there. Jensen, once again, this safety car restart has provided the goods.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I can tell you, as we do see an Angry Birds car straight in the fence at turn 4. Not 100% sure that is.
That is no, it is not. It is.
That is Rick Vigar.
Rick Vigar, massive hit, and he spun again. So he stopped here. We'll see if we can.
Straight into the path of and now we see car 69, a 266 car is also facing backwards at turn 6. That is Jim Caperonis.
Jim Caperonis, where is Jim Caperonis in the timing sheets? Here he is. And he's
back up and running again.
Back up and running again. It's all happening here on the restart, folks. A black flag for Jim Caperonis as a result. Luke Allman, let's have a look at what happened to Luke Allman initially. So this started down at the hairpin. Was this all on his own? Heavy under brakes. Looks like he's carried a little bit too much speed, spun the car, trying to rotate through the corner and sat it there. Rick Vigar. See what's happened here. It's already happened at this point though, so something already happened to Rick Vigar at that point to go into the outside wall, and then again just spun onto the inside wall there, so everyone had to go a bit wide and then went backwards almost into Troy Sipple. Here is Sips coming through, so he's all on his own here, Troy Sipple in the number 17, and just arrives to a backing up for Rick Vigar and has to go into the dirt to get around him. And this is Jim Capronis. What happened to Jim Capronis at turn 7? Oh, massive hit from one of the I'm trying to work out who that was.
One of the Accelerate cars.
And into the wall. So that was a huge hit.
Not 100% sure where Jim Capronis thought that Accelerate Sim Racing car may be able to go. That he was right up against the fence, so kind of just a 2-into-1 situation. Doesn't go there, as we see now. Jace Douglas appeared to slam the door closed on Stone Street there. From what I saw, it did look like there was a car on the inside. Whether they had sufficient overlap or not will be the question, but unfortunately slamming the door when there is a nose in it will result in you tripping over it, whether that nose should be there or not. What I can tell our viewers at home, I do have my radio tuned into the race control channel, and it has basically been non-stop since that safety car pulled off. It has been absolutely red hot, ladies and gents. There is all sorts of stuff going on. These people, these lads that are out there racing tonight, as we see here, ball goes through. Stone Street sticks the nose in. Look, probably not the required overlap. I'm probably not going to argue that point, but unfortunately for Jace, hasn't seen that purple bonnet in his mirrors and has turned in. The unfortunate thing there. Oh, yep, absolutely. He's getting his nose clean. He's got back to third. He is chasing down now two incredibly fast people in Borg and Walker, but bit of a shame there for Jace. As we see Stone Street hard in the fence on the way out of turn 8. I feel like that's not the first time that we've talked about Stone Street being in the fence on the way out of 8 tonight. I think he's got a magnet installed in the car. I think he's making a bit of a habit of running wide out there.
He certainly has. Look at this little group. Nick Geary just had a crash. He is rolling once again. I believe that was just a checkup, but this little group of cars here, starting with Vince Salvatore trying to hold up. Brad Hayes disappeared into the distance. We're trying to disappear into the distance. Vince Salvatore running without a front bar. That car will be majorly understeering at the moment and not turning in the way he wants it to. Look at how he's trying to throw this car through the make it super cheap auto car, and a lovely livery on the car, but unfortunately missing that front bar right now. And he's trying to defend, but it just seems like a bit of an uphill battle at the moment. Law McKee all over the back of Andrew Hoffman. He's got Nick Geary in behind him for company as well. This is the last, well, not quite the last spot in the top 10. Energy listeners up in 10th place, some 3 seconds up the road. Brian Bork, 4.1 seconds is the gap to Wayne Walker. So Wayne Walker once again disappearing into the distance. We're starting to get to the pointy end of the race though. There is not a lot of time left. We have less than 20 laps. We're on laps 61 of 78. So when we cross the line, there will be 17 laps to go, ladies and gentlemen. Where does the time go indeed on your Tuesday night? We hope you've enjoyed the action so far. And it is far from over. We still have plenty of racing left, but it is getting to the point now where they will start to see the lap count, and they'll start to maybe a move they wouldn't have gone before. And I think you touched on this earlier in the broadcast as well, Josh. A move they probably wouldn't have gone for early in the race. They're certainly going to go for that sort of move getting to this point of the race now.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the part of the race that you set yourself up for. You do a bunch of clean laps. You keep your nose out of trouble. You save as much fuel as you can so that your pit stops are short. And now you look up and you see that you're 16 laps from the end, and you think to yourself, you know what? Let's lay it all on the line here. As we do see,
looking good.
No, that is a rear axle that is pointing in the wrong direction. I reckon that we're going to see the back of a car into a fence here as we brake for turn 5. And it does just break free and then bang into the concrete fence. And unfortunately, that's done a bit of damage to that rear axle. And what do you, I got to be honest, doing a fantastic job to get it back and so far keeping it out of the way of everybody else, running it up against the wall in turn 8 at this stage with a car that's pointed 30 degrees across the track. I've got to say probably isn't all that unexpected. losing positions though, hand over fist here, and that would be one very, very frustrated driver. I think that what he'll be doing here, we are not that far out of safety car. I was just going to say, I reckon that there'll still be a nice little gap on track that he'll be looking for as he heads towards the pit lane.
Yeah, and he's got it going once again. We had Matty Morgan doing his job and predicting we're going to get another safety car within 5 laps. Hopefully not, Matty, but you never know, especially at the pointy end of this race. Jared Cole also chiming in with the age-old phrase, the adage that safety cars breed safety cars, and that they certainly do. Matty Morgan saying there must be $1 million or an oil field up for grabs somewhere with the way these guys are racing at the bottom of this field. And look, there's been some spectacular racing up and down this field tonight, just showcasing the skills of some of these drivers. A few incidents, but I guess that's what we expect at Adelaide as well. It's never going to be perfect, is it, on a street circuit? This is a very harsh and demanding course, especially in these cars. It's asking a lot. There's no room for forgiveness pretty much anywhere on this track. There's no real runoff except for maybe a couple escape roads up the inside. Luke Orman under brakes on Andrew Hoffman, not close enough on that occasion to get that one done, unfortunately, but is doing his best to try and get this sorted and get up into 13th place after spinning, unfortunately, from what was going to be a very strong podium position for the 266 driver. We've seen him on the podium a couple times this season, and there's been a couple other times where, unfortunately, incidents like that or getting caught up in someone else's incident has meant that he's lost out on a podium spot. But he's driven brilliantly, as always, and hopefully he can come through. He's not too far away from the top 10 spot, so he can battle his way through these cars and might find himself in the top 10. He is running out of time to do it, though.
Yeah, the laps are really starting to tick down now. It's not a particularly long lap here at Adelaide. You touched on the fact, Isaac, that there's been a few incidents tonight. I do just want to point out that we really should be appreciative of the show that these guys have put on for us. It is widely regarded that these are probably the most difficult cars to drive on the iRacing platform. Adelaide would have to be one of the more difficult tracks to drive them around, and whether it's the guys up the front, putting on the show for the major positions, the absolutely insane midfield battle, or those guys who are down the back just churning out laps at the pace that they can. The reality is that these guys are doing a far better job than the average iRacer would, and it's an absolute credit to them for sticking out for 78 laps of Adelaide tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a long race. 251 k's. We've already been going. I've got a timer here, folks. We've already been going for an hour and 36 minutes. So these guys have been racing around this circuit for about an hour and a half, which is such a long time. Yes, we've had 3 safety cars, so there's been a little bit of an opportunity for them to break up the action, just to sort of reset, if you will. But again, it's not. I don't feel like it's necessarily enough. It is a long time behind the wheel of these cars. And by the time we get to 78 laps, we'll be going on an hour and 45, maybe potentially closer to 2 hours. And that is a long time behind the wheel of one of these things. A big ask in a Gen 3 supercar at Adelaide, and absolute props to them. Obviously, this is what they do in real life. They do 78 laps of this circuit in the Adelaide Grand Final on both Saturday and Sunday. But these guys, look, they do a wonderful job. They're not real supercars drivers. They don't get paid like real supercars drivers sit here and do 250 Ks. They do this. Reason number one, they do this because they absolutely love it, and they're pretty good at it. Certainly better than myself and a number of other people out there. But look, they do it because they love it, and doing something for an hour and a half to 2 hours for the love of the game, I've got to take my hat off to them, because it's a long time to be behind the wheel, and they absolutely are crushing it. And they will be starting to feel the fatigue. We could see a couple of mistakes start to creep in at the back end of this race, but as it stands at the moment, they are doing an absolutely spectacular job.
Yeah, absolutely. And looking at the times up the front, they're just continuing to punch out, lap after lap after lap that is, the same speed that they were pumping out on, lap 10. So these guys are doing a fantastic job. And yeah, you're absolutely right that these guys do it for the love of the game. They should be, incredibly proud of their efforts at the end of tonight, because it's been a really good fun race. A race this long, Isaac, does run the risk of becoming tedious, and we end up with some separation between all the cars. But the battles tonight have raged for the entire 67 laps so far. And I reckon there's just a feeling there's going to be something more to come still.
Yeah, Phil, I do have that same feeling that we might not be quite done just yet this evening. We are still. What lap is it, ladies and gentlemen? I had a request to ask what lap it was, and it is in fact. I'm sure you'll be answering in the chat, but it is lap 67. And apparently that's a meme, they tell me, but I don't quite understand it. I'm not quite up with the lingo of some of the kids today. I do work as a teacher as my day job, but I still don't understand what they carry on with sometimes. So that is the lap number that we are up to, and that means that we have about 12 laps to go, 11 when we cross the line. And Wayne Walker, about 4.5 seconds. Brian Borg's actually started to close him in here, I've noticed. He's closed that gap by about a second. But maybe Wayne Walker just looking after those tyres. Remember, Wayne Walker didn't stop. Again, he has been on those tyres since lap 31. Brian Borg is on a relatively fresh set of boots. He pitted on lap 54. So we could start to see a swing back in his way up the inside. Nick Geary on Andrew Listener. That is a spot inside the top 10 and the lead of the Trophy Cup class. So a very decisive move for Nick Geary, and one that could prove to be very valuable in terms of championship points as he moves up inside the top 10 and into the lead of the class. Andrew Listener and Lorne McKee are the next two cars. This could be the battle that we have to the end here, Josh Harris, because they are all within about a second of each other. They're really the closest battle on track at the moment. Abel Verban and Brad Hayes are also battling, but in terms of championship as well, these guys are three key players in this championship. This could be on here at the end of this race.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not sure whether you saw the times as they came across the line, but Lorne McKee significantly faster than the two in front. Obviously, they were squabbling over position a little bit, but Lorne will be looking to buy into this battle. Obviously, Listener will be making sure, or doing everything that he possibly can to not let Nick Geary run up the road. These guys, how cool to see our more amateur drivers, our Trophy Cup drivers, still essentially nose to tail after so much racing. These guys are just doing a fantastic job, and hopefully this is the battle that we see to the end of the race. It's Make It Something car in front. I'm not sure that super's the word that I'd use to describe that car right now. But Vince is doing a wonderful job of continuing to circulate. Hopefully he is able to clear himself and let these guys come through and watch that championship battle continue to rage.
Yeah, this is, a very key championship battle. He does not want to hold. There is also another handful.
Palmer's in the fence.
Palmer is in the fence. Ryan Palmer is in the fence. Where is Ryan Palmer, ladies and gentlemen? Here he is, trying to get it out and moving again. He's lost a handful of spots. That is massive damage on the front of the 80 HD Chevy Camaro. And he now has Matt Vanderkraan about a second behind him. How much damage is on that car? Let's see if we can go on board and have a little bit of a look at what the steering looks like. Here's the drive. And there is Ryan Palmer, a little camera, a little onboard camera. We get a look at what is happening, and look at that. That is slightly right hand down, so he is battling steering damage now. Ryan Palmer was in 5th place. He's got Matt Vanderkraan right behind him. Here he is, Matt Vanderkraan. Can he get up the inside into the hairpin? I think he can, and Ryan Palmer's lost that front bar now, so that front bar's actually completely fallen off the car, and will be an absolute that is one of the 266 cars, and into the wall goes Matt Vanderkraan. And because I'm trying to unpack what happened there, Matt, the 266 car that's just gone into the wall, I'm not entirely sure who that was. We will have to find that out for you, ladies and gentlemen. Pulled across on the racing line in front of Ryan Palmer, as a result, Ryan Palmer has hit another car, and it's not giving me the crash replay there. I don't know if you're able to access that one, Josh Harris, to see exactly what has happened to, one, to see what has happened to Ryan Palmer, and two, to then what has happened in that incident, because the 266 car came across in front of Ryan Palmer, who was not expecting him to. Ryan Palmer's had to stand on the brakes, hit the back of the 266 car, which has gone into Matt Vanderkraan. So this is Damon Fisher, and into the... Oh, and he's just come across, hasn't he? I don't know if he's known that Ryan Palmer is there. Massive contact into the wall for Matt Vanderkraan. Ryan Palmer's had to continue on. He will not be happy about that at all, and that is a heavy, heavy hit. This is Matt Vanderkraan trying to come through, gets around, and then, yeah, massive hit into the back of him, a concertina effect, huge impact for those drivers.
I think I might have the replay of Ryan's earlier crash too, so we'll duck back and have a quick squiz at that.
Just all on his own as he helped. Oh, it looks like he was helped there a little bit from a back marker car and bang into the wall. So he was trying to navigate his way around a back marker car who looked to let off the throttle to let him by, and unfortunately, it has not been going the way of Ryan Palmer this evening in the latter stage of this race. We said anything could happen, and anything certainly has. Yeah, well, Jason Douglas now right in behind Matt Palmer and putting pressure on him for that spot. Lorne McKee, meanwhile, has gotten ahead of Andrew Listner. So while this incident has gone on, things have been happening in that trophy class battle. Luke Allman as well is right behind Andrew Listner now, so it's happening up the inside. Thinks about a move from Jace Douglas, not able to get it done. We only have 7 laps to go here, folks, and it's still going on. We predicted this, and at the end of this race would be chaos.
And I laugh, ladies and gents, at the state that Ryan Palmer's car's in. That bonnet is flopping around all over the place. The bar's already gone. He is absolutely dragging what is nothing but a bucket of bolts to the finish line. Desperately trying to hold on to a top 5 position. Jace Douglas, not known for backing down from a scrap. I reckon that he is going to be very, very keen to get into it. And here he goes, straight down the inside at turn 9. Can Jace Douglas get it pulled up? He does. Ryan Palmer swipes across the backside. They go too wide into 10, and Ryan tries to hang tough around the outside. They do end up just touching tyres. You saw that puff of smoke come out, and now Jace Douglas has got that pass done. He will be head down and trying to get away. Ryan Palmer is going to be hurting. Matt Vanderkraan behind also was in the fence, so it'll be interesting to see whether Matt Vanderkraan's got the fighting power to drag him back. We now cast our eyes back to Luke Allman in 13th place, climbing all over the back of Listner. Listner will be desperately trying to keep every single position that he can, but he looks to have absolutely wrapped himself up a Trophy Cup podium position, which is an absolutely fantastic result. To see those top 3 Trophy Cup guys in 10th, 11th and 12th is absolutely fantastic.
Oh, it is brilliant, and we love to see it, don't we? Just the way that these guys lifted. Vince Salvatore in the pits with a meatball flag, so finally come in to get that damage repaired, and hopefully can get a front bumper back on that Make It Supercar. This is Luke Allman putting pressure on Andrew Listner. Another spot in this field is what he would be hoping for this evening. And a lovely shot, as we have throughout the season, a camera into the cockpit of Luke Allman, both virtually and in real life. See what he's doing behind the wheel of that sim rig. We lost our broadcast TV for just a second there, but we are it is back, the timing tower. Just trying to look what is happening with that battle with well, look at that bonnet for Ryan Palmer. It is very much worse for wear. Phil Manuel may also get him here as well, so he might lose another spot. He lost a spot to Matt Vanderkraan. He'll lose a spot here to Phil Manuel. I think it's only a matter of time, and he is carrying significant damage on the front of that car, Ryan Palmer, after that massacre. That bonnet is basically disconnected from the car. I'm surprised it's still there. I think the only reason it's still there is because there's a piece of metal holding it in over the top of that radiator, because otherwise I do not think it would be there at all.
No, absolutely not. Ryan Palmer's punching out 25s, 1 minute 25s, while the cars around him are doing 1 minute 22s. So he still has 5 laps to go. He's going to lose another 15 odd seconds on the cars behind him. So he still has probably a number of cars to pass him, I would expect to see him finish up outside the top 10. Unfortunately, having tangled with those couple of lapped cars, but that's the challenge of racing.
It certainly is. It certainly is the challenge of racing. We're on lap 74. Oh, there goes the bonnet. So the bonnet has finally parted company with that car after he lost the spot to Phil Manuel. I'm surprised there's not a meatball flag. If Vince Salvatore got a meatball flag for his car, surely Ryan Palmer gets a meatball flag for his car. Look, I love Ryan. I'd love to see him get a top 10 finish after starting from the pit lane, but that is... Let's be honest, there is no front end on that supercar. That is air cooling at its finest, ladies and gentlemen. He has maximised the cooling efficiency of that Gen 3 supercar because you cannot get more cool air into that engine if you tried.
I'll tell you what's not cool. That's that front right-hand tyre, which is about 30 degrees of toe out. It is not cool at the moment. That thing's getting scrubbed down the road at a pretty significant rate. But for our Monty Python fans, Ryan Palmer, it is but a flesh wound, so he will be okay. It's just a bit of fiberglass that's missing. Unfortunately for Vince, he had more structural, mechanical issues. But yeah, Ryan's got a world of hurt coming. This is though the back of the podium. How surprising, Isaac, to find ourselves, at the start of the 75th lap, almost, and we have a battle for the podium.
We do.
Once again, Adelaide brings the goods. The battles just rage. Mark Poynton, he's certainly not slow, neither Stone Street, by the way, but those guys are going to have a good scrap. And Matt Vanderkraan and Jace Douglas now all over each other. Jace immediately goes defensive. Matt Vanderkraan's not exactly, 2 days on this earth. He'll know what's up. He will construct a bit of a pass. I think that Matt Vanderkraan knows that the possibility of getting to the back of Poynton is basically nil. I expect to see Vanderkraan here. He'll take a lap or so. He'll understand where Jace is weaker than him, and he will strike. There's no doubt about that.
That he certainly will. Ryan Palmer has dropped outside the top 10 as well for those playing along at home. Al Dusty saying that active aero has gotten out of control and that maybe you should just take a door off too. Maybe just take all the panels off the car, run around in a chassis with an engine in it. That's a good idea. That'd maximise aero efficiency, wouldn't it?
Look, it'd maximise something. I'm not sure that aero efficiency is the word. Yeah, it'd maximise cooling. It would give some, Craig Lowndes 2005 Bathurst vibes. But I'm not 100% sure that is the ultimate goal now. There is, for those who follow along on Marketplace like the rest of us, there is a ex-BJR mechanic who has a supercar chassis that he sits his simulator in. So the concept of seeing just a chassis racing around isn't that too far-fetched. Someone walks past their lounge room and spots their partner sitting in a supercar chassis racing pretty frequently.
Yeah, it's, when we walk in here, what on earth have you purchased? But now Phil Manuel has invited himself to this party as well. So Jace Douglas under lots of pressure. I'm also keeping an eye on this battle between Poynton and Stone Street to see how that develops as we get to the 76th lap. So we are almost at the end of this race, folks. Matt Vanderkraan has a think about to move up the inside. Jason Douglas does not go defensive there. Held his line. Matt Vanderkraan not good enough under brakes to get that done. Luke Allman's passed Ryan Palmer and Andrew Listener, so he's up into 11th, 2.5 seconds back from Lord McKee. Could he get himself into the top 10 here with only a handful of laps to go? He's going to need a lot of pace if he does want to get there. Lord McKee is all over the back of Stephen Varga. There's multiple battles that we're trying to keep track of here. We're keeping an eye on this one. This is Lord McKee on the back of Stephen Varga, pushing for 9th spot in this race. Mark Poynton still about half a second behind on Troy Stone Street, so not quite close enough on this occasion. The group in front also, no one's going for an overtake just yet. Wayne Walker has just started lap 77. So these guys were only at the hairpin. Wayne Walker's already started the penultimate lap. He's on lap 77. He is an absolute age out in front, 6.5 seconds ahead of Brian Borg, 13.5 seconds as a consequence. Brian Borg is ahead of Troy Stone Street. That's over 20 seconds back to, for those playing along home, it's 20.1 seconds back to Troy Stone Street from the lead of this race. And no one has had an answer for Wayne Walker in the latter half of this season. He is an absolutely brilliant, flawless even. Here we go. This is Matt Vanderkraan. He's a lot closer this time. Oh, make contact with the back. Jason Douglas. Jason Douglas is going to go on the wall. Matt Vanderkraan has gone straight on, I think also as part of an attempt to redress that. And Jace Douglas has continued on after almost ending up in the wall there. That was a huge moment in this motor race. Matt Vanderkraan down to 11th place. Lorne McKee still all over the back of Stephen Varga. Mark Poynton trying to stay with Troy Stonestreet. I don't think we're too far away from Wayne Walker coming through to start the final lap of this race and receive the white flag. Here is a replay of what happened. So Matt Vanderkraan all over the back and then under brakes Jace Douglas. I'm not sure entirely who was to blame there, but it looked a little bit messy. Jace Douglas able to straighten it back up, keep it going, albeit with a little bit of front and rear end damage. But wow, that was an incident.
Can I just say, fantastic recovery from Jace. Matt Vanderkraan there attempting to get that pass done at turn 4 and just not able to do it. Jace Douglas there going incredibly defensive on Nick Geary.
Jets, please.
Nearly tripping over someone coming into the pit lane. We are on the last lap. Of course, Wayne Walker's probably nearly halfway through it, but we are keeping our eye on the battle for third and the battle for 6th. Phil Manuel all the way up into 5th. I mean, he started 4th, but I feel like Phil's been up and down the totem pole a bit and flown under the radar. Troy Stonestreet, though, up 27. Ryan Palmer up 20, even with his challenges. There's been a couple of fantastic drives tonight. Wayne Walker, though, is an absolute guru here on the streets of Adelaide. We haven't had the opportunity to look at him tonight as much as we might have liked, but he does throw it out sideways. He wiggles that tail around in celebration. Wayne Walker is your Adelaide champion as well as your ASR Season 7 champion. Brian Borg keeps it out.
Oh, look at this! What is going on here? Sorry to cut you off, Chops. I've just cut to this camera shot. We had 4 cars wide on the run into 9. It is all going on. We've got cars in the wall. Lorne McKee and Matt Vanderkraan and Stephen Varga in the wall. Nick Geary is going to come out on top here, ahead, not quite ahead of Jason Douglas. Luke Allman's up into 7th.
Nick Geary's got a black flag.
Nick Geary's got a black flag up the inside of the braking zone. Nick Geary under brakes, trying to get every position that he can. Jason Douglas is going to lose it. Luke Allman's going to get both of them at the line. Across we go. Who came out in front? It was Nick Geary in the end with the black flag. So it's not going to matter. But oh my Lord, that was a finish to this race indeed. Let's get a replay of that if we can. I don't actually have the contact on my screen. I'm not sure if it came across for you. Actually, Stephen Varga here. This might be what happened. Stephen Varga into the hairpin, around the outside. There is, that is not Matt Vanderkraan. That is Lorne McKee into the wall with Stephen Varga. And that is huge contact. So Stephen Varga into the wall after contact with Lorne McKee, spins it around and gets going again. But that was 4 wide into turn 9. That was never going to go.
No, that was never going to go. And then, of course, the battle into the final corner. Jace Douglas, Nick Geary, and Luke Allman. The reality was that, unfortunately, it doesn't look like... It doesn't look like, Jace was... It doesn't... Sorry. I've got a million things going on. Race control chat in my ear is going bananas. It doesn't look like Jace Douglas was aware of that penalty for I think it was Nick Geary. And so he fought into the last corner, got bumped wide. Luke Allman ran through and capitalised. Of course, Nick Geary going to take a huge penalty with the black flag going over the finish line.
Yeah, that's right. He's going to drop quite a number of spots, and we'll see that reflected in just a second. Here are our 4 race results. Actually, we'll run you through them. Wayne Walker takes the race win, the final win of the season. He's absolutely dominated the back half of this championship, and he will comfortably win the championship this season. Wayne Walker wins by 5.5, almost 6 seconds over Brian Borg in second for my Mustang. I don't believe that team name is wrong. We'll get that updated for Brian Borg, of course. But Troy Stone Street in P3, a podium at the end of the season. Troy Stone Street, he will be happy to cap his season off in that fashion. Mark Point in P4. Phil Manuel, Luke Allman back up to P6 in the chaos at the end of that race. Jace Douglas in 7th. Lorne McKee comes home with the trophy class win in the end in P number 8. Matt Vanderkraan 9th. Ryan Palmer back into the top 10 without a bonnet or a front end for that matter. So that is a wonderful result for him. Andrew Listner, then Stephen Varga, Andrew Hoffman, Rick Vigar, Nick Geary into 15th in the end with that penalty. So that has dropped him quite a fair way back down the field. He's the last of the cars on the lead lap. Then it's Glenn Boyce, Abel Vervan, Brad Hayes, Ernie Toth, and Damon Fisher rounding out your top 10. And looking a little further afield, here it is James Hardy, Mick Clifton, Jim Capronis, 5 laps down, Vince Salvatore, 8 laps down in the end, Troy Sipple, 9 down, David Logsdale, Craig Rose, Trav Daly didn't finish the race, I believe, Scott Perrins, Craig Shawls, Ash Hall, Andrew Rushworth, and Mick Rudd also not finishing the race this evening. But wow, what a finish to that race. We'll have a look now as well quickly at what that looks like for our championship points now. And I will click this button and it should show us the points. Oh, it didn't hide what I wanted it to hide. So there we go. Oh, everything's gone away now. I'm losing everything. And here we go on our screen. So Wayne Walker, this is what it looks like. By quite some margin, he will take the Season 7, the Solar Guard Saint-Gobain Supercar Championship here for Alliance Sim Racing. He will be your championship winner for the 3rd season in a row from Matt Vanderkraan, from Mark Poynton, holds on to 3rd in the end. Stephen Varga, Ryan Palmer does finish in 5th. Troy Stone Street jumps up 3 spots in the end to finish in 6th place. Jim Capronis loses a spot. Luke Allman jumps up 2 spots right at the end to finish in 8th. Andrew Listner gets 2 spots to finish inside the top 10 and take out the trophy class victory. Congratulations to Andrew Listner. Lorne McKee will finish 2nd in that class, and Rick Vigar will finish in 3rd in that class. Nick Geary 4th. And then looking, Trav Daly rounds out your top 20 in that championship. Let's have a look now. We'll see if we can have a chat to some of the drivers. We have got a couple drivers in here. We're just waiting on. I was hoping Troy Stone Street would jump in for a chat, so we'll give him just a minute. Troy in the green room. Wonderful. I'm reading my messages out loud, ladies and gentlemen. We might actually get Brian Borg in first, and I'll hand this off to you, Josh Harris, as I drag him in to have a chat with the man that finished 2nd place in this race, Brian Borg. Josh Harris, take it away.
Brian Borg, absolutely fantastic result tonight, mate. 78 laps of Adelaide. That's a huge effort. That's right up there with the the real world event. Talk to us about how hard it was tonight. Did the fatigue set in? What are these cars like for 78 laps around Adelaide?
Yeah, I definitely had the David Reynolds left leg friggin' numbness going on for a bit at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a long, long way, mate. Looked like you were in a battle for basically the entire race there. Wayne Walker was just absolutely miles up the road. You didn't quite have the pace of him tonight?
Wayne definitely drove a good race. I think I had the pace. I just didn't have the track precision when I wanted to. I tried to do something different with this final, when that final safety car. I came in and put tyres on, and I think Wayne stayed out, but I just had, I just lost it in track position. And once you go offline at this track and pick up the marbles, your tyres take a good 3 laps to recover.
Yeah, right. That's understandable. Tough race when you find yourself, out of sequence like that. Lots and lots of action though tonight. You must be happy with the last couple of weeks. I know that there was a couple of challenges for you at some of the races through the year, but are you back with ASR for season 8? Does this set up a full-blown attack next season where you hope to carry these performances through?
Yeah, definitely. I think next season I'll give it a, why not do the full season? I think I was a little bit, had a bit too much going on this season, but it's calmed down a bit. But I just want to say congrats to Wayne for winning the championship. He drove mega all season. He definitely deserved to be champion this year. So I'll be out for him next year, but if next season if he comes back.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Look, before we let you go and celebrate with everyone else, outside of Wayne, is there anyone else that you'd like to give a shout out to as we do our final round and final interviews for season 7 of ASR?
Yeah, just a big shout out to my sponsors, Mustang Mods, MP Concepts, and if you're looking to do up your Mustang or anything, just ring up Mustang Mods. We're happy to help you out. For you guys doing the broadcast and everyone involved in the background for race control and everyone who done the season, have a good time off in your break.
Well, thank you very much, mate. We hope that you have an absolutely fantastic evening. We're going to let you go back to enjoy the rest of your evening with your team and celebrate appropriately. And I think that we have got Mark Poynton about to come on into the booth to have a bit of a chat with you, Mr. Fogarty.
We certainly do. We unfortunately don't have Troy Stonestreet that came third in the race to have a chat to, but we do. We are blessed with the presence, I should say. The man that came third place in the championship, Mark Poynton. Mark, first of all, congratulations. Third place in the championship. That is a huge result for you, and you must be feeling pretty happy with that one.
Yeah, can't complain. Very happy. Podium for the series, for the championship. Tonight was a tough race, and I think Troy was actually given a 10-second post-race penalty, so I didn't try to pass him on those last few laps, knowing that he was going to cop that post-race for an incident earlier.
Well, there you go. We were not quite aware of that one in race control, so that's some lovely insight from yourself to pass that on. So I believe that means you probably do get the podium in that race as well. But yeah, P3 in the championship, obviously a very strong result for yourself. Wayne Walker, very, very strong this season indeed. Do you feel like, though, this sets you up well for season 8, the next season coming, to hopefully maybe mount a championship challenge with the momentum that you have moving forward?
Oh, look, certainly puts me in good stead, and I feel like I'm driving reasonably well. I did make a mistake tonight, and apologies to Mick Clifton. I went for a bit of a move coming into the hairpin very early on in the race tonight, and spun him. So my apologies, Mick. I was given a drive-through tonight, so I did have to take my medicine and then get my head down and try and set laps and ignore the penalty and get through. But I think, to be honest, it's going to be tough with Wayne. He's driving extremely well. Brian's quick, Troy Stonestreet's quick, Matt Vanderkrant. I mean, the list goes on. You got some pretty quick guys here. Yeah,
there's no shortage of quick guys in ASR, absolutely. But look, congratulations to yourself once again. It's brilliant to see you doing so well, and to obviously continue to get a chat with you guys. Look, before we do let you go for the final time this evening, obviously this season we've had plenty of opportunity to have a chat to you. This will be the last time this season we do get to chat to you. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to, anyone you'd like to say thanks to?
Huge thanks to ASR, to all the admin, to race control, and to you guys for the broadcast. It's top notch. I look forward to sitting down after the race and watching the broadcast. So huge thanks to you guys, and then thanks to my teammate Nick, who's joined me this season, and then from the team perspective, Juiced Energy, Racecraft, Blue Stampede Labour Hire, Tailored Consultancy Services, and Stodhor. They help us get on track.
Wonderful. Well, once again, congratulations, P3 in the race teams and P3 in the championship as well. We look forward to seeing what you can do next season, and hopefully continue to move forward in those standings, and plenty more of these chats to come.
Fingers crossed, mate.
Thank you very much. That is Mark Poynton there, and we thank him for jumping in and having a chat on what was, once again, a very successful season for him. That leaves us with only a couple more people to have a chat to. The first of which we're going to drag in here will be our Season 7 champion. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is in fact 3 in a row for the man, Wayne Walker. We bring you in to have a chat in the commentary booth. Congratulations, first of all, on the race win tonight, but also on the championship.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's, 78, or what was it, 78 laps around Adelaide.
Yep.
That's hard.
It certainly did not look easy at all. And look, I think there was a couple battles early on in that race. Just talk us through what it was like out there. There was a couple of safety cars to break it up, but I can imagine it still would have felt like an absolute workout behind the wheel of one of those cars with the amount of green flag running we had.
Oh, it is. It's you don't get much of a break around this track, and having the walls so close, you really can't make any mistakes. You outbrake yourself a little bit, and you're into a fence, so you can't push to 100%. But then, with lapped cars as well, you had to be sort of a bit careful around them, because a couple of times I'd come up to a lap car and you'd think they were sort of leaving you room to let you through, and then they turn in on you, and so you had to be careful of that. And yeah, it's just and then safety cars as well, bunch the field back up. And yeah, after that last safety car, I thought Brian had stopped for new tyres. I thought he would have just passed everybody pretty easy and caught me, but he was saying that you get offline and to try and pass, you get into the marbles, and then because you get loose, it takes a few laps to get your tyres back, and that sort of allowed me to get a gap. And yeah, I didn't think that I would be able to hold him off, but yeah, it worked out good.
Yeah, it certainly worked out very well. You looked like you were sort of, especially between those second and third safety cars, and even at the end, we were really trying to run away with it, and just no one could touch you. Talk us through, especially the back end of this season. You have absolutely, I think the correct term is dominated in terms of the pace that you've had behind the wheel of this car. You look absolutely at home behind the wheel of one of these things. Are you feeling comfortable behind the wheel of these Gen 3 supercars? Obviously, you're loving it out there with the pace you've had, because it's been a pleasure to watch, really.
Yeah, well, the more and more I drive these cars, the more I'm getting used to them, and sort of how much you can slide them and stuff like that to sort of get the most out of it without sort of burning your tyres out too quick and things like that. So yeah, and it's not there has been Brian's been quick as well. The last round he won the first race and I won the second. So there's other guys out there that are up there with me. If I make a couple of mistakes, they'll be on me or past me. But it's been a good end to the season.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, once again, congratulations. I believe that is 3 in a row, which is absolutely spectacular. And you look at the top of the championship points, sort of untouchable at the moment. And we look forward to seeing what you can continue to do throughout the remainder of the year. Before we let you go, though, for the final time this season, obviously it's been an absolute pleasure to chat to you. I've had the pleasure, only really coming into ASR this season, but I've had the pleasure of chatting to you a couple times now. And Jared, I know, absolutely enjoys chatting to you, but is there anyone that you would like to say thanks to, give a shout out to, or any final thoughts you wanted to share with us before we let you go?
Just everyone who helps run the league, race control, all the other competitors as well. Sort of without them, it's not sort of possible, and it's good to have some other quick drivers to race against. My team, Accelerate Sim Racing, and all the guys there for all their help and that throughout the week and over the seasons. And our sponsors, Abbey Timber, Primal Wheels, Box and Lock Narang, and Modern Deck.
Wonderful. Well, well, congratulations once again. It's been absolutely spectacular to watch you do what you do best. It's been a pleasure, and look forward to hopefully seeing you out on track very soon and watching you again work your magic, because you're absolutely spectacular, and we love these chats as well. So hopefully there's more of these to come.
Okay, thank you.
That is Wayne Walker there, your championship winner, race winner tonight as well. Worked very, very hard for that one by the sounds of it. And look, we do now have, I think, one of the most important people when it comes to Alliance Sim Racing to drag into the booth. It is the man that really helps make all this happen, Troy Sipporn. Josh, I'm going to hand over to you to have a chat to Sips, not because I don't want to chat to Sips. I think he's a lovely bloke and I'd love to have a chat to him, but I think you are best positioned to have a chat to this man. You know him a lot better than I do.
Welcome in, Sips. Looked like a fairly challenging night for you personally tonight, but I don't think that's what you're here to talk about. I think that we are here to talk about ASR as a whole and where we're going. How do you think that season 7's gone? And I guess where, what's the league got brewing up ready for season 8?
Well, yeah, no, we thought the season went well. We got the two separate splits sort of thing within the one. And I think Andrew won the second tier, which was good. We're big meetings this week with Ricky, and we're going to sit down and have a good chat about a few things. I think there's a lot to learn from this season, so I think we had a lot of incidents, but we also had big thanks to the race control and that, of course. But we had Jonathan; he had a few unwell weeks, and Tim had to work as well. So our race control this season was a little bit out of place, which we'll look at rectifying for next season. But other than that, everything's going good. The plans are going good. There are some season 8 will run pretty much the same as this one, as the style of races and stuff. But there is big chat about doing something new and exciting a little bit later in the year. But yeah, so other than that, but I'm very happy with the way season 7 went. So congratulations to Wayne as well. So took it out again. So we've got to work out a way to get him down the back, I think.
Surely he'd look good in a Mustang GT4, for instance, might be better than a Mustang Gen 3.
Yeah, well, I was thinking about giving him a little Mazda CX-5 or something. He can run around behind us.
Yeah.
He'd probably still win. If we could add that in, and we'll stick him in that, I reckon. That might be a go.
Now tell us, your Enduro Championship is coming up as well.
Yep.
Probably a good time to let everyone know out there about that and how they can get involved, because I've got my eye on that, I must say. It changed date by a week, which not sure whether someone looked at my calendar or not, but absolutely worked perfectly for me. I can't wait to get to the Bend personally.
Yeah, well, we had it for next weekend, but of course I think the Scott's 12 hours on, so we kind of shifted it back 1 week to the 22nd, just to leave it open for a few extra guys if they want to get in. So, but we're actually running the old track. We're not going to run the same track that the V8 Supercars are running this year, the short one. We're going to run the one we did through the season, the normal one, the international one, I think it's called. So so we're looking forward to that. Entries are going okay for it, but normally that doesn't kick off till after tonight's race. Then everyone will have a look at it and jump in. So, but no, I think that's going to be a good race. So 600 Ks too. So looking forward to that one. Hopefully I can do a little bit better than I did this tonight. So.
And for anyone out there whose ears have suddenly picked up, if memory serves me correctly, Sandown and Bathurst later on as well in the year?
Yeah, we got the Sandown 500, which will be after the next season. And then, of course, the Bathurst 1000. That's always a big one. Everyone loves that. But the big one at the end of the year, there's another Adelaide 500. and that is for charity. So don't forget that one. We'd love everyone to chuck in. So we are going to look at doing advertising a little bit earlier for that, opening up the account for the advertising, because last year we did 2,000 just over 2,000, which was really good. So, and of course, if we can do anything for charity, that's great.
Mate, I couldn't agree more. Look, I'll give you a really quick chance to do a shout out in a second, but look, we are going to wrap up. We still have the winner of the Trophy Cup to come up, and it's not that we don't want to hear from you, but
yeah, no, that's all right.
Final thoughts, Sips, and anyone that you want to thank tonight before we do get to move on and have a chat to your newest champion in the Trophy Cup.
Yeah, beautiful. I'd just like to thank you guys for the broadcast. Great job. Especially Race Control, been hard for them. They did a great job. Trim travels around Australia, takes his laptop, still does all the stuff. Jonathan, he's been sick. Stand Up, Todd and Simon, great job, guys. Well done. Also our sponsors, Gard and the Buns, the Buns.
Chubby Buns?
Yeah, Chubby Buns. Sorry, brain fart. Jim, thanks, Jim. Hope to see you back next season. Everyone else that's gotten involved, Rick, all the boys for helping us. So, yeah, thanks, guys. Great season. Thanks, all the winners. Good luck, all the winners. Great job, all the winners. And we'll see you all, hopefully, around the Enduro.
Mate, couldn't have said it better. Can't wait to see you in Season 8. Have a wonderful night. And
I'll get some practice. Hopefully, I'll do better next season.
Look, we can only hope. And we're going to let you go because... really excitingly for ASR, we have a new champion to talk to.
Yes.
As we have been talking about all season, we do now have a Trophy Cup in ASR, and our inaugural Trophy Cup champion, Andrew Lisner, joins us. Mate, absolutely congratulations. A really cool initiative by the guys here at ASR to have that Trophy Cup style championship for some of the guys that maybe don't compete up the front every week. So how did your year go, mate? How good is it to have this style of championship available to you, and how much more fun did it make it to turn up every week?
Oh, hey Josh, thanks guys. Look, really had fun this season in ASR. Really used it to benchmark my speed against all of these quicker guys, and congrats on the podium championship for those guys. And I've really enjoyed being able to bang doors with them during the season. Just consistently finishing, top 10 or 15 for the whole season, and keeping an eye on that championship made me more invested into every race.
Yeah, mate, absolutely. It's a pretty cool thing. So talk to us about tonight. I think from memory, you got yourself all the way up into the top 10, the only one of that Trophy Cup in the top 10. How challenging was 78 laps of the Adelaide Parkland circuit tonight?
It's definitely a long race, but we've done a lot of practice. I think we did over 200 laps in practice to build up our, to sustain that long. The race, I got caught in the pack a bit at the start, got caught up in a crash, had some damage, so did about 20 laps without a bumper. But safety cars are a wonderful thing, and getting waiver rounds definitely helped me get up, and I think I finished 11th in the race, which was, really good.
Yeah, it certainly was really impressive. G'day, Andrew Isaac here. First of all, congratulations from myself as well. Talk to us about this season. Obviously, I think it's, as Josh mentioned, it's the first season we've done this Trophy Cup class. How have you felt, behind the wheel of the car this season? Do you feel like it's come to you as the season's gone on? You've obviously looked really strong out there across the season. Some really, really good results. Are you looking forward to... you're happy with what's been and looking forward to, we're getting stuck into Season 8?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be doing Season 8, that's for sure. The Cup Championship was a good way to keep me invested all season. Certainly at the start of the season, I was a little bit anxious, being with these faster guys. But I've stuck to the V8 now. I don't do any other car racing in iRacing. I've stuck to the V8 to try and master it, and I've gradually got quicker each season. I'm very lucky to be part of the Southern Cross team and the Chubby Buns with Jim and Hoff. taken me under their wing and really supported me in the racing. Throughout the season, we've had about 6 or 7 guys race ASR, and it's been really enjoyable to have those guys in Discord.
Yeah, it definitely looks like you're having a lot of fun out there, and you got some really strong pace to prove it. I think the rumor I'm being told is that winning the trophy class comes with a promotion into the overall class for next season. So with the pace you've got, I have no doubt you'll absolutely smash it out there. Before we let you go though, Andrew, we like to give you the platform, give you the floor. Anyone you want to say thanks to? Obviously you mentioned Jim and Hoff and the work they've done for you this evening, but anyone else you'd like to say thanks to or give a shout out to before we do let you go?
Yeah, Race Control, the broadcast. We love watching the replay broadcast after the race. We've got a great team of drivers at Southern Cross, so they've all supported me across the season. And just the other drivers in the league. Thanks for your support and look forward to season 8.
Yeah, wonderful. We look forward to seeing you out on track when it does come time for season 8, mate. But until then, congratulations. Go and enjoy this one. Celebrate with your team because it is thoroughly deserved. You've driven brilliantly, mate.
Cheers, Isaac. Cheers, Josh.
That is Andrew Listener, your Trophy Cup winner for this season, and what a result for him. Hopefully we see him come back next season and continue to do one better and take the fight to those guys up in the overall trophy, or up in the overall championship, I should say. But Josh, what a race this evening. What a way to cap off what has been an action-packed season. Some brilliant action up and down the field. You've nailed it, I will say as well. 3 safety cars you predicted at the top of the broadcast. 3 safety cars is what we got tonight. So congratulations on your correct prediction. And we'll get your thoughts on just what you thought of the racing this evening and how amazing it was.
Mate, I think that was Adelaide. Every race that I've seen of Adelaide is about the same. It's full of battles. It's full of crashes. It's just genuinely good racing. Unfortunately, the nature of the track means that a lot of people get involved in incidents, which is always frustrating as a driver. But I'm not a driver tonight. I'm a spectator. And that means that I don't mind. I'm pretty happy to see people getting involved in crashes, to be honest, because it gives us something to look at and talk about. I think there's a couple of people who did an absolutely bang-up job. Troy Stone Street, look, he copped a 10-second penalty. That's going to drop him down 1 position. So he's going to go up 26 for the night. Ryan Palmer's up 21. Abel Verban, we had a chat about him at one point through the race. He was in strife at one point. He's up 19 positions. There's just a bunch of guys who did a really good job and kept their nose out of trouble, which I think's a credit to them. A credit to ASR. They've put on another great season. A credit to Wayne Walker. Tonight, talk about just summarising your whole season in one night. Like, he just walked away with it. That guy is genuinely a class above, if not on raw lap speed, certainly on the ability to put a race together and the ability to, conversely put a season together. I can't wait to see him back next season. Maybe another couple of quick guys, someone to challenge him would be fantastic. Let's see Brian Borg get in there and do a whole season and challenge him. I think the only way that I can wrap up is that if I had to come along for 2 races this season, I reckon these are the best 2 to have done. What a way to end the year. Isaac, I've had the pleasure of being here for a number of seasons. I hope that you had as much fun as I normally do. What a way to wrap up season 7.
Yeah, I could not have said it better myself, Josh. I've had an absolute ball this season, my first full-time foray into ASR, and sharing the booth with Jared, as always, is an absolute pleasure. Sharing the booth with you these last 2 rounds has also been an absolute pleasure. And apologies for stealing your job, but hopefully I've done good enough that I'll be able to keep it for the next season. So apologies, Josh, but no, absolutely loving being in the booth, and a huge thank you to yourself as well for jumping in and having a yarn and talking about some race cars on a circuit, because that'll conclude the final broadcast of season 7 for ASR this season. A wonderfully electric race here at Adelaide, non-stop action throughout. And from all of us here at Simple Racing Broadcast, we want to thank you for your support this season. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you all tune in each and every week to watch these broadcasts. We've grown in popularity as well. I think we just hit 600 subscribers last night. So that is an absolutely amazing effort and a huge milestone. We thank you all for your support that you showed to this channel and to ASR as well. A huge thank you to them for having us on board here at Simple Racing Broadcast and allowing us to broadcast such an amazing product and the amazing racing. We can't wait to do it all over again for season 8 in a few weeks' time. But for now, that will do it. If you're looking to get your sim racing fix, do not fear. MC Motorsport tomorrow night in the GT3s. Not quite sure what track they're at tomorrow evening. Josh, maybe you could enlighten me as to where they're racing?
Oh, dearie me. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but I will be able to if I click here tomorrow night. I do believe they're at Hockenheim.
They are at Hockenheim. No, they're at Bathurst. They are at Bathurst.
Hockenheim Ring was last week. Bathurst tomorrow night.
If you're looking to see some GT3 racing at Bathurst, then make sure you tune in for that. And if you're looking for some more Supercars Adelaide action next Monday, MC Motorsport will take on this amazing circuit for the penultimate round of their V8 Supercar Championship as well. But for now, it's a huge thank you from on behalf of Jared Cole, who was not able to be here tonight. He will be, of course, back for the next season. We look forward to having him back in the booth once again. On behalf of Josh Harris, who I shared the booth with this evening, and myself, Isaac Fogarty, and of course everybody here at Simple Racing Broadcast, we thank you for tuning in. We thank you for your support this season. We look forward to seeing you next season, or the next time you do jump into a broadcast. But for now, it is bye-bye. Have a wonderful evening. Stay safe. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.